take a little player break if you need to or whatever. Okay, they have stuff to talk about and all that jazz. Cool. So if you want to say like, I needed 3 minutes or whatever, no big whoop. What has been? Oh, or who are we lagging or flipping?
Lagging.
Lagging. Okay, so this is what's been working better for us in the last couple ones is wait for the pound, pound, pound on the wall.
Okay.
And then lag, because there's going to be like a little intro once we shut the door.
Okay.
You know, we'll talk about what we're doing.
Cool.
And then when we're ready for you guys to get going, we still want anyone to miss any of the action.
Yeah.
So wait for the pound, pound on the wall.
Were you able to share it yet?
Oh yeah, I already sent it to everybody. But I got onto the.
Why don't I see it? You got it on YouTube?
I went on YouTube,
Oh,
and
okay.
then found it that way.
Okay. Maybe shows live. Oh, okay. Woo, baby. Can't get this feeling anywhere else.
Winter break, rack your own, straight 10 ball BCA rules. So, should be pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Hello and good evening, everybody, and welcome to PNW Pool Thing. Got a really rad match for you tonight between Luis Alvarado and Morgan Joe, and special guest commentators Cole Gibbons and Chris Byers. So stay tuned. We'll be getting started here just in a few moments.
Yeah, I'll sit in with Cole. So yeah, we'll pound on the wall here shortly.
Okay. I'm ready when everybody else is.
Okay. Awesome. You guys want the fireplace on or off? Is it gonna?
Probably off.
Okay. Yeah, because it'll warm up in here if it stays on.
That's tight.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Okay. All right, I'm gonna close this door.
All right, welcome everybody. We're going to get started here in just a minute. We'll give the little customary wall pound.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, real simple.
Well, cool. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, welcome Cole Gibbons.
It's going to be a great match.
Yeah, give Chris a moment to finish his food, so I'll sit in here with you. But, yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, this is going to be a good match. We got two strong players in the Northwest.
Yeah, that's my phone.
Little reverb.
Yep.
All right, so they're set to lag. We got a race to 9 here. 10 ball, BCA rules, winter break, rack your own. Little fist bump to get it started.
Yeah, so do these guys play each other at the Silver Star?
I don't think so. Based on what Morgan was telling me, I don't think they've played too much, but they definitely respect each other's game, I'm sure. Morgan takes the lag.
All right. Wow, yeah, I'm really excited to see this match because one of the things that we noticed Morgan was our second match over here, and we noticed how well he shoots for the short amount of time he's really been playing.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. But he knows what it's like to train, isn't he? He's a fighter, right?
Yeah, and he just, the way his mind works, it's like anything that he spends time doing, like pool or, you know, soccer, video games, whatever it is, fighting, he's just going to put his all into it. And the way he trains is very suited for pool. So, you know, it's like setting up a shot over and over again and shooting it for 10 hours straight. That's the kind of thing that he loves to do. So.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. He's also a new father, or did he have his second child?
Yeah, a new father,
Oh, okay.
Piper Joe. Yeah,
Wow.
she's just coming up on 2 years pretty soon in August. So
Oh, that's
not
awesome.
quite, about a year and a half. But yeah, pretty amazing.
All right, let's see how he breaks. Now, so he hangs out a lot with you and Chris, right?
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely, he's one of our best friends, and
Oh, that's too
it's
bad.
an unfortunate scratch there.
Well, yeah, if he's playing with you guys a lot, then probably picking up quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. And I think just the way that we all talk about pool, we're all learning from each other all the time. So there's a lot of stuff that we just talk about on the mental side of things. And, you know, anytime we have a shot that comes up and we want to talk about it, we post it in the group chat and, you know, just talk it over. What's the best strategy? So,
Right.
yeah, just having that environment that kind of fosters growth all the time is important.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's, you know, kind of the idea of talent is kind of a myth. You know, it's about hard work, how much you're challenged, the effort you put in, you know. So, yeah, if you're around better players, you're just going to progress a little bit more.
Absolutely. It's
All
like
right.
Luis is clipping off this ball, coming 2 rails around, behind the 3 and the 2.
Yeah, that's a pretty good shot.
Yeah, even though he didn't quite get behind those balls, it's a good containing safety.
What do you think you recommend for Morgan to do on a shot like this?
I think kind of the same shot, so you just want to put a little more English. I think he can clip off this one still, and then a little more spin, so that way he can avoid running into the 5 down there by the corner, come 2 rails around behind the same balls. So kind of the same shot, and then in turn the 1 gets tied up with the 4 there.
Nice. I like it.
I kind of like these games to start off that are a little more like cat and mouse.
Well, it also, you know, those delicate little shots, you start warming up and getting into stroke with those a little easier than being faced with a full-on run out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it almost calms the nerves a little bit for sure.
Yeah.
Looks like we got Jackson McDonald in the chat. He said, "What's up, guys?" Ed Winter. He said, "Let's go have a good match, guys."
Dizzy Wilson and Travis Hernandez.
Absolutely.
Those are all people that have played here before, which is great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, or wait, I think Jackson did commentary for Chad Bisconer.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
that's
a good idea.
unfortunate. It
Yeah,
was.
I liked what he was doing there, but
Yeah, because I think if he had doubled that corner a bit, it would still be kind of hidden from that cluster behind the 8.
yeah, and I'm not sure if he can carry him the 7 in the side here. It seems like it might be on, but he looks like he just wants to clip off it and play another safety. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, the 2-3 being tied up, it's kind of makes me feel like maybe it wouldn't even be a good idea to make a ball right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. Maybe even go for the 3 foul just with the way the balls are sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Now Luis can go to the bottom rail here, and he actually has a pretty good chance of making the 1 just with where it's positioned.
Like he could get some help from the 7.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Still a good hit.
Mm-hmm. Well, now Morgan gets to try the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much the same shot. A little bit tougher just because you have more of a kind of a sharp angle. You have to be a little bit more precise, but still a good chance that he makes this ball. Chris is wrapping up his food.
That was the Chris done eating crumple.
Dylan in the chat. What's up, Dylan? How's it going? Yeah, we definitely got to get Jackson over here someday. He's playing so good right now.
Excellent. Well, that being said, I'm going to step out the booth and let Chris in here. So
Awesome. I appreciate you having us over here, Jesse.
Oh, yeah, we love it. Welcome. There you go, Chris.
Thank you.
Have fun. Let me know if you need anything.
Sounds good.
I'll be back in a few, so for now, feel free to control camera angles or adjust the score.
Okay.
So we got Luis with ball in hand. He's coming into these balls here. It looks like he might have opened up that 2 enough. Just not sure if he has the angle to go past the 5 and make it. What's up, Chris?
Hello.
Hello, good sir.
Have to acclimate to these microphones real quick. Give me a second.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't feel like he can make this ball, so he's just going to try to clip off this. Just nudge it maybe just behind the 3 and leave the cue ball on that side rail.
Good shot.
Yeah, not a bad shot.
That's the best you can do in that position. I mean, best not to try and do anything too complicated. Just keep it simple.
Absolutely.
It's a containment shot, so it's not going to afford him ball in hand most likely, but it'll keep him in the game.
Yeah, and this game has been a lot of like cat and mouse type safeties to start, so.
Look at this.
Ooh, what a shot. Yeah, he hit that in with authority, so you can definitely see he's feeling good. I was watching him warm up. He's definitely stroking him good.
Great hit. You know, when you're hitting those kicks solid, you're hitting the ball solid rather than clipping the edge of it thin. You know, you're kicking good, and you got the angles of the table dialed in.
Absolutely. So if he's feeling aggressive, he can pop this bank in. It seems like it lays pretty good to kind of draw over for the 4 in the corner. He decided to play safe, which nothing wrong with that.
What do you think he was going for there?
It could have been that he was trying to play it off that ball. I'm not sure because I didn't see if he called the 10 maybe, but it seemed like kind of a two-way shot.
I heard you say earlier about cat and mouse. This is looking like a cat and mouse first game for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Look at this. Great shot.
Beautiful shot by Luis. Especially like when you've been playing a game that's a lot of safeties, it's really hard to open up with that first shot that isn't the easiest of shots. Like he was down on that bottom rail. He had to power it. But it can really kind of take away the nerves to pop that first one in.
And as soon as you do and you're presented with a much easier shot like this one and you have a pretty straightforward out, it builds up that momentum nicely.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Not really a ton of problems here. I feel like the only way he could get a little funny is like from the 6 to the 7 if he doesn't get good angle.
Is this one the 6 ball?
Yeah, that's the 6.
Okay. These colors are a little different.
So he can still spin this one in and come 2 rails towards the 7. You just don't want, you need a lot of spin to avoid getting hooked on the 8 here. Because you can kind of come too flat off that rail.
I like how he got up and reassessed.
Yep.
It's crucial in shots like this. Very touchy. He's going to have to kill it with the outside and try and maintain that tight angle into the corner there.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful shot. I think he came out okay.
Get away from him. I think he's got the edge. I think he's good.
Yeah, now you can just come over for the 8 in the top side and should be out from there, but
I think it's a good idea to touch on how important it is to capitalize on these runouts.
Mm-hmm.
And I may have jinxed him bringing that up right away, but
I might have as well. The good old commentator's curse, but hey, he hooked him, so
he
Morgan's
did.
got to come with a good shot here.
But back to talking about that, it's crucial. I mean, if you're getting out on the outs you're supposed to get out on, it's hard to be beat, you know.
For sure.
It's when you're making those mistakes on the outs that you are supposed to get out on, and it's the first rack. There's plenty of time. I'm just saying over the course of a match it can have a pretty detrimental effect.
Oh, 100%. I think he's got to go 3 rails here. Just try to miss the 9 barely coming in. I think if he goes 1 rail I mean, he could go one rail. It just looks a little bit tight to make the ball. I don't know. What do you think?
3 rails. I like 3 rails here, actually. I think it's doable. I don't know about the masse, because if you do the masse, you got to hit the cue ball with less speed, and there's no guarantee you're going to see the 8 afterwards if you make it, you know?
Yeah. He's going one rail. This could actually work out because you can kind of double kiss that 7 ball in coming off that long rail.
Oh, went long.
Yeah.
Is it pretty new felt out there?
Yeah, they keep it very clean, and the balls are clean, so it's going to play like new most of the time is what they were saying. So it kind of makes sense that went long. And Luis just has to capitalize here. He's got a somewhat straight shot on this 8.
Just got to stay down, follow through, put a good stroke on it, and should go in the hole.
Nice shot.
Just like that.
Good angle to come on over and make that first 10 ball. That was a good way to play it, kind of the bottom side of the pocket. Make sure he doesn't scratch in the side. First game to Luis.
Bingo.
So, I wasn't sure if Jesse said he was going to do the score, but I just put that one in. Oh, and I did the wrong one, so.
Oh, nice.
Off to a great start.
I'm leaving it to you because I didn't get any introduction.
The ball.
The mics were muted.
Oh, are they?
They're
Okay.
good now.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Like when you're breaking, what kind of English do you put?
I'm typically going slightly below center, and
Okay.
I'm slightly elevated in the back of the cue, and I just focus on driving through the very center of the cue ball and maximizing the surface area of the tip, contacting the cue ball to get that most transfer of energy, and then, of course, center of the cue ball to center of the head ball.
Mm-hmm.
So just a maximum energy transfer all the way around, and that usually has a pretty good result for the most part.
For sure. That makes sense.
Would you say you're usually a little bit below center as well?
Yeah, I would say so. It seems like he might be eyeing up this 10 ball. It's not the worst shot because the 3 will probably stop right where the 10 is, and he can play the cue ball over by the 8.
I like that. I think you have to go for it there. I mean, it was lined up, and there's not really any great safety options that I saw anyway.
Yeah, for sure. And with the 5, 6, 9 tied up down there, it's looking a little ugly.
These shots are touchy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You got to thin it just perfectly behind the 10 and play the cue ball correctly as well.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a little squirrely. But Morgan's really good at these shots usually. He has a good touch for the delicate defensive shots.
Yeah, and he sees those types of shots right away, so that's important, especially when you're in a pressure situation, just to play the right shot, and whatever happens after that, you just kind of accept it.
Agreed.
He's just going to try to kick this. I mean, if you can, you'd like to kick it down to the, like, kind of 2 rails to the bottom rail and just let the cue ball stick there. You could even call it in the upper right corner pocket.
I don't know if it's there, but if he can see the left edge, maybe clipping the left edge and going 2 rails and snugging up on that 7 or 6-9.
I think you're right. I think he can. Think he can see the edge of it, but he's a little undecided on which way to go. But I like what he's doing, and he did it before on that other shot on the 6th ball. Just get up, reassess. It's not like there's a shot clock or anything, so just make a good decision.
We're not in the Moscone Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, that might have been the best he could have done with that, because it looked like he didn't have a lot of room between the ball and the rail. So when that's the case, there's very little flexibility as far as how thick you can hit the ball.
Yeah, and now he's actually created an opportunity for Morgan to break out this cluster coming behind it off the bottom rail, which is what he's looking at. I think you do have to be aggressive here, especially playing a guy like Luis that's going to run out when things are open. So,
agreed. And it looks like he made good contact. And one thing that's important in going into balls like that, especially clusters, is you want to go into them with pace, with speed, because especially when 2, 3, 4 balls are stuck together like that, you need some energy and some speed to separate them.
Absolutely.
But he made the best of it. He played a good save despite not having a shot there. And
yeah, that was a great shot. He really locked him up. And I don't think that he can see this, even though it looks like he might be able to. I'm pretty sure he's got to kick this one.
See how he measures his kicks, if he goes off feel or if he kind of has a system. I know you like to use that one rail system, and I like to use it sometimes too.
Yeah.
Pretty good
I
way
think
to.
Systems are really just kind of a starting, like a jumping off point, and then you have to incorporate feel afterwards. But I like to just get something there and then kind of feel it out after the fact.
Totally. Good hit. Good hit.
Yeah, it was good.
Didn't get rewarded, but you don't always get rewarded on those kicks, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Morgan just has to kind of settle on position here. Just cut this one in, leave a little distance on the 6, and then you're pretty much out from there, which is what he did.
Good shot. Stop, draw. Followed up a little bit and shoot the 10.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to set your pace in the beginning of a match like this. You don't know whether to play kind of on the slower side or you get a little amped up with adrenaline. But he seems like he's got a really good pace going right now.
Definitely. And I think they both have a little bit different paces naturally. And I think we were talking about this before the match started, that Luis is a little bit faster of a player. Morgan tends to take his time a little more, but when Morgan's feeling good and he's in the zone, he's definitely got this pace going like he is right now, where just getting the work done.
Yeah, for sure. And this is kind of how he was practicing, so just kind of playing the table how it lays, and he was running out pretty consistently, so it's definitely a good sign.
Practice how you play how you practice.
All right, I'm not going to get this one wrong. Morgan got that game.
Good job.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. All right, 1-1. So we got a couple player questionnaires. If you want to kind of read off some for Luis. It's just a little bit about him, kind of when he started playing pool.
Oh, cool.
Favorite players, that kind of thing, so people in the chat and watching can kind of learn more about them.
Okay. How do you want to do this?
Yeah, if you just want to read a few things off while we're about to break.
And I know Luis. I see him around quite a bit, but I don't know him in depth, so it'd be interesting to know him a little better.
Yeah.
Looks like he started playing at 9 years old. Wow.
That's pretty incredible.
That's young. You can't even reach the center of the table at that age.
Yeah, and it said that he won a father-son tournament when he was 11 years old, I think.
Yeah, that's
So
exactly what it says.
those early moments to really get excited about pool, I think, are so important for like the younger players coming up. And something as simple as a tournament win with your dad, it's like that's huge, and then kind of ignites that lifelong passion for pool.
Is his dad a pretty frequent pool player too, or do you know?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Looks like he's just gonna clip off this ball, come down to the bottom rail, and hook him with the 6 and the 8. He might have left it, although I don't think it goes by the 4.
We need a ref in there to get that magic rack out.
Yeah, just use the good old chalk trick.
Looks like his favorite player is Carlo Beato.
That's what I was assuming, yeah.
That guy is no joke.
Yeah,
He's a
Carlo
killer.
is incredible. Definitely a good player to model your game after.
Interesting style he has, but it really works. He gets the job done, and he's a world champion, so definitely not a bad player to emulate. Looks like Morgan's got a carom here.
Nice shot.
And he set himself up for the combo on the 10.
Absolutely. I don't think you could have gotten any better on this ball. Do you like to power these, or do you like to kind of just float it in with precision?
Oh, no, you got to float it in. You got to float it in. Powering this, especially, you're dead straight in, and you just got to take your chances and shoot it to make it.
Beautiful. And
Which he did. Good job. Good shot.
Another on the board for Morgan. You're like, hold on a second. Yeah, you might blush here, Chris, but under who are your favorite pro players and why, Morgan put Cheska Centeno and Chris Byers.
Well, he also wrote in different colored ink Cole Gibbons.
No, but Morgan's always really loved watching your game, and I think it's hard because you have such a naturally big stroke, and kind of like ever since I started watching you play, you have this amazing natural talent. It's kind of hard to emulate that at times because, a lot of people have to work towards that, whereas I feel like you kind of had that from an early age. You feel like that's
Maybe
somewhat true?
Maybe. I think just my height in general gives me the big, smooth stroke that everyone says I have. That plays a huge role in it. And obviously, hundreds of hours of playing pool as well. But
Yeah.
Everyone has different anatomy. Everyone's brains click in different ways, and their styles and their muscles work in different ways. So it's just a matter of finding what works best for you. And there's certainly downsides to having the stroke that you pull almost out of your bridge hand every single time, like accuracy issues and whatnot, and having a more compact stroke can eliminate that. And
For sure.
Pros and cons, like I can power draw and shoot balls hard and stroke the ball and get it around the table pretty easily because I don't have that compact stroke, whereas someone that does might have a harder time doing that. So
Yeah, for sure.
I think having the ability to do both of them when the time is needed is definitely key.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to the game. Looks like he's taking on a little 1-9 combo.
Good shot.
Everything's laying pretty good. It's just about taking care of these balls in the middle of the table. That was a nice shot.
Good control.
I think just getting good on this 5 ball is kind of the secret to the rack, and then from the 8 to the 10, but both players look pretty comfortable, so that's great to see.
It is. And when both players or one player is struggling to get that comfort level with the scene and the table, it makes the match rough a little bit, So to have them both in stroke and making balls and executing well, it's good.
Looks like you can just pinch this ball back a little bit for the side, or for the corner, sorry.
He's keeping it simple. I like it.
Yeah, and then just stop this ball, come off the long rail down to the bottom rail. I don't think you can really get funny on the 7 just because it's a little off the rail. So if you overshoot a little bit, you can kind of be below it, which isn't a bad way to play it.
Okay. He's all right.
Okay. A little bit steep. The nice thing about playing on a 7-foot table is you just have to remind yourself that you can make pretty much any shot. It's just really about the line and being on the right side of the ball.
Exactly. Especially once you're at a certain level of play, you know, you can assure yourself I can make any shot on this table, like you said. And just remember all the space you have to work with, especially with more open layouts like this, and know that you have a lot of room to land that cue ball.
Just going to switch views to try to get a little better angle here. Yeah, he can just go one rail here.
Nice shot. That's okay, because, you know, it's better than overrunning it and scratching. So taking a little tougher cut here, not a big deal, like we were just talking about here with on the 7-foot table.
Yeah, that was a good out.
On a 9-foot table, it's a little bit more difficult shot, but he made it happen. It is now 2 up.
Yeah, both players haven't really made really many mistakes, so that's good to see. I think as you get into the later stages of a match like this in a race to 9, you start to see those little tiny mistakes, and it could just be mental errors come out, but you know, it's possible that both of them just play perfect. That does happen.
Who won that one?
Luis did.
Luis, oh sorry.
Are we able to be heard?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, these are, I didn't even see all the comments here.
Yeah. So we're just gonna try to get good view here. So looks like he might push out here. What do you think, Chris?
Let's take a look.
I guess he can go just kind of slow into it and let the 1 come up and use the 4, but it's just a little bit dicey with the 10 sitting there.
From one end of the table to the other, slow rolling that ball.
Yeah.
And he might not be able to hit the 1 without hitting the 4 right after. You know what I mean?
Right, and then having to play with the 7.
This is one of those situations where there's really not a whole lot you can do. So I might even push out where the 9 is and leave the kick on the 1, the kick safe, because you could kick into that long rail and hit the 1 and hit the 1 in the short rail and possibly get the hook on the 4 that way. Granted, super low percentage, tough shot, but you're kind of forced into a corner here.
Yeah, this is tricky because the push is, you're probably going to get it back in most situations, but that's not a bad push. I don't mind that.
As long as that first shot we were talking about isn't there, where he can just clip off the edge of the 1 and go behind the 4, then this is okay. I think if he left that shot, then looks like Morgan's going to go behind the 7 here, which is super touchy because of that, but he hit it good.
He hit it really good, and I don't think that Luis can see the 1 here. If he can, I don't think he can see it to make it. He's almost cutting it to the bottom rail and running into the 4, so
he's in trouble here. I almost want to jump this ball.
Yeah.
Because there's no, that I can see from here, there's no escape route kicking.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the 2 rail kick or coming underneath the 1 is kind of blocked by the 9. Yeah.
That 9's a big ball for this path. I don't know. What would your hesitation be jumping here?
I don't think that's a bad play.
Because
I'm not sure how comfortable he is with the jump cue, but I think
because that. Sorry to interrupt, but that corner pocket's big because that 10 ball's there too. So if he hits the one thick, like one can go off the 10 in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I like that. Morgan's probably gonna want to get this hit watched. Oh, good old breaking out the phone in slow-mo. Gotta love technology in the modern age. Javier in the chat says jump kick, which that's not a bad
it looked like a good hit from here.
Yeah, that looked good.
I've actually never seen anyone pull out the slow-mo camera.
Yeah, I've done it a few times now, and it actually makes perfect sense to do because, you know, you can't really, like technology doesn't lie, or slow-mo, I guess you should say.
Right. But he elected to go with the Masse there, which was probably more of his comfort shot. And nothing wrong with that. I just think that he could have gotten maybe a little bit better result with the jump, but
for sure. Well, Morgan's definitely got a doable layout here. Gets good on the 2. Just roll this one in. Slightly going down table, meaning he's going to have to play the 4 and hit the end rail on the left as we're looking at it. That's a good shot. I like that. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I was looking at...
Oh, you were looking at the 5 thinking it was the 3? I was too.
No, I think that is the 3.
Oh, it is?
And I think that's where I was confused.
We'll find out here in a second. What's some things going through your mind right now on routine runouts like this? What are you focusing on the most?
Really, I find that when I play my best pool, I'm just focused on position. If I'm thinking about anything else, I kind of start to get in my own way. So here it's just like walking around the table, making sure you're on the right side of the ball, doing a good visualization before you get down, and then kind of letting your muscle memory do the rest.
I like that. Let the... What's the word I'm looking for? Let your reflexes just take over.
Exactly.
You've done this 1,000 times. You know how to do it. You know you can do it. Don't overthink it. Just let your body take over.
Yeah, and he's gotten a little bit funny here to where he's got to play the 6 in the side.
Ooh.
He ended up in a position where he can play, looks like he can play 4 rail shape, just barely avoiding the 9, and then coming to the top rail again and coming down for the 7 in the top right, or the top left corner. He's just got to come tight into the corner.
I think you're right. And I think elevating here and not using outside English, elevating to come tight into that corner with center, because otherwise you're going to run into the 9 there. You can stiffen out that angle.
Mm-hmm. No, he came out okay, though. If anything, he ended up a little straight on the 7, but if he did, you just got to settle and follow forward for the 9 in the other corner. I think sometimes we all get a little set on playing a route a certain way. Like I want to play the 9 the same pocket as the 10, and then you end up getting out of line or you can't finish the run out. So I like what he's doing here. He's just going to fall forward, and then he knows he can make that 9 in the other corner.
Absolutely. It's all speed here, which he played the speed nicely. Just finding that landmark on the rail, whether it's a diamond or a discoloration in the wood, just so you have a spot to look for, like, okay, this is the line that I want to be on, and you gauge your speed and you execute, and
I like that.
That's what he did.
Yeah, that was a really nice out. Good recovery. Sometimes those outs can feel the best when you kind of get a little funny and then you still get there.
Good. Nice out.
And Morgan with another one on the board.
so far, good match. They're both putting good stroke on the ball and doing what they're supposed to do. Like you said earlier, not many hiccups.
Yeah. There was a couple shout outs. I'm just going to do the Morgan's shout out now. He wanted to shout out his wife Chanel, Piper, and my close people watching. They know who they are. So, of course, he's got a little one at home, and you got a little one on the way.
Little ones everywhere.
Yeah.
Flying out the woodwork.
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to meet him.
It would be cool if all of those little ones were taking our spots right now in the future.
Yeah.
Playing pool, commentating pool.
I think they will be.
Of course, having a nice career and job on the side of all that, but...
Yeah. No, I think pool, the passion is in the blood, so they'll definitely catch the bug.
I agree. I already know Clara is going to be running racks in the next 8 years or so.
Oh, you already know. Yeah, make it 4. No, I'm just kidding.
You're right. Excuse me.
So it looks like he's going to have to push out here, unless he wants to take on a long jump.
Push-outs are so interesting. It's such a chess game, and it's also sacrificial at the same time, because sometimes you have to push out into a position where you know you're not going to get the better end of it, but it's better than what you were presented with initially.
Yeah, for sure. You have to push out to a shot that you feel comfortable with, and maybe you know your opponent might struggle with a little bit. So whether that's a jump shot or like a kick safe, something like that. But it looked like... thought he had his jump cue out, but I could be mistaken.
So
What
you
is
gotta
the push here?
You got to think, what's he going to gain? What could he gain from jumping this, right? So if you look, if he jumped and made this, he could have a potential shot on the 2, or if he missed it thick, he could have had a good result as far as a hook or something, but he decided to push, and he pushed to what looks like an open shot here, so I think Luis is going to take it. I don't think he intended to leave the full view of the 1 there. I think he might have been even pushing out to another jump, or what do you think?
Yeah, it could be. It could be that he's also just testing Luis, maybe just putting him under the gun, which there's some value to that. You know, if you put your opponent in on a shot like this and then they miss it, they might kind of get in their own head a little bit. So, like in that situation, when Luis comes up to the table next for a long shot, he might still have that shot that he just shot in his mind. So, it could be a little bit of a mental game. We'll have to ask Morgan about that later.
Good perspective. I think that's a great point. Because this game, the little things can stick in your mind and haunt you if you don't forget about it, have a short-term memory, and move on with the match, and then just approach it later on, you know, when the match is over. But if you dwell on it, then things can get hairy pretty quick.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I think both these players are well versed in that and know to have a short-term memory and forget the little mistakes. And Luis had a tough shot there, and so he shouldn't beat himself up too much for missing that. It's not an easy shot.
Absolutely. I think Morgan came out really good here on this shot. He can kind of slow spin it for the upper right corner pocket. And you can really manipulate the angle a lot because you can play the 2 ball to the left side of the side pocket as we're looking at it and just kind of spin into line. And I don't even think he has to play the cue ball like down towards the 5. I think he can spin it enough to where he's straight on the 3 and then just kind of pop back for the 4 in the same pocket.
I agree. And you're hitting this with basically pure left English, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yep. Which he did. He didn't quite spin it enough, so he's kind of going towards that 5. He might be able to pinch it back like with some low right English, but it seems like he might be going too far down table, so what do you do here?
I think what you do here, I think he's got too much angle to pinch it. So I'm thinking to play slightly above center with, well, it depends. If you want to shoot the 4 up in the top left, I would just play center ball and clip off the left side of the 5 and just float over a little bit for the 4 in the corner, which might be the highest percentage. Or if he wants to try and play it in the bottom left or the bottom side pocket, then he could have put some left English on it. But
Yeah.
looks like he ran into that 5 pretty thick, and he's going to play the combo, which we didn't see.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to take on this combo just because it seems a little, even though it seems straight, whenever you have a combo like this, they can go wrong pretty easily. So he has a lot of balls to hide behind here if he did want to play safe. You know, he could shoot the 4 down to the bottom rail and kind of run into the 10, hook him behind the 7.
Yeah, and then the 10 could float back out and be another speed bump as well.
Looks like we got Mike D in the chat. He said, "Great to hear you two on the mic. I'm shopping and watching. Awesome. Good to see you in the chat, Mike D. Hope you're doing well, man." We got Javier saying 10 ball is the perfect game for 550 to 600 matchups. They are usually pretty close matches, even with the winter break. 650 plus is a different story.
Interesting perspective there.
So it looks like Morgan did play that shot and he hooked him. So Luis has a pretty makeable jump here and position's kind of built in. Just got to bear down and put her down.
That's right. Was that with a jump cue or full cue?
I couldn't tell. But now it's really just about the 7 to the 9. Everything is laying pretty good here. He's just kind of double checking anything that could go wrong, which is something you should do when you have a fairly easy layout. So Dizzy said, "Cole and Chris, what is the most common mistakes that you see 500 to 550 rated players make?"
Good question.
What do you think?
I would say shot selection and picking the right shot in certain situations. There's plenty of situations where you have multiple paths to take as far as position, and one's going to be better than the other to take in a higher percentage. And sometimes I'll see players, even higher players than that pick the wrong route, and if they don't hit it perfect, then they find themselves in trouble on a routine out, and then they don't end up getting out. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, I was going to say, like, not putting as much emphasis as they should on getting on the right side of the ball when playing position. So, like, almost being obsessive about being on the A side or the B side of the ball, the next ball you're going to get on.
Exactly.
To continue the run.
Which ties, what you said and I said tied directly to each other. They all link together.
That was a good out. He came with a little bit of a recovery shot on the 7 ball, but he made a good out, and it is now 4-2 Morgan.
When we're talking about getting position on the ball, most of the time you're either going into the next line or the next shot line, or you're crossing that line. And sometimes you have no choice but to cross it. You're forced to do it, and at which point speed control has to be on point. But if you have an opportunity to go into the line of the shot with the cue ball, and this is talking about the next shot. So you shoot the initial shot, and then you're playing position for the next shot into that line. Then that's going to be your ideal situation, just to avoid any unforced errors of speed control and whatnot.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I think if you have to come across the shot line, using multiple rails is the best way to go. You know, rather than just going one rail, you kind of come 2 rails. Even if you're crossing that line, you just get a little bit more control.
Definitely.
It's a good pop on the cue ball that Morgan just hit.
It was. I heard it from past the mic here.
Yeah.
Through the wall.
Through the wall. Yeah, I feel like laying down a good 10-ball break is one of the most satisfying things in life. You know?
I agree.
But
there's plenty of ways I could describe it that probably aren't appropriate for the mic.
yeah, but few and far between to actually get one of those.
Excuse me.
It's a tough break to perfect. He's gonna lay down. He clipped the 8. He looked pretty good initially, but with the 5 kind of being a little funny on the 9, this definitely is not an easy layout. Dylan said playing too offensive, taking hero shots instead of playing safe. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. You got to know when to go and kind of when to play a high percentage safety.
I agree with that too. And that comes with the experience and playing a lot and watching a lot, seeing what other players do and whether or not they have success with it.
So he's got a good shot to. He's trying to go underneath the 7 here. He could also go over by the.
Nice shot.
Oh, I didn't even realize he could make that. That's my fault.
Yeah, he pinched that nicely. Held his cue ball in the right position. Now he's got to figure out what he's going to do with that 5 ball, and based on the fact that he's straight in, I'm assuming he's going to follow it forward and just go ahead and lock Morgan up on that 9 ball and bank the 5 up table towards the 8 and the 10.
Yeah, it's almost like he's playing it to cut it, unless he's playing for the bank in the bottom left corner.
If he can cut that ball, then I cannot interpret these camera angles well.
No, it does look pretty close, but yeah, he's kind of second guessing it.
If he can't cut it, he's either got to go all out and cross corner bank it, or I suppose he could thin the left side of the 5 and snug it up under the 9, play the cue ball kind of where it's at right now.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see what that's a great shot.
He struck it with confidence. He liked the shot. He committed, and he got a good result. Good shot.
Absolutely. He's a little bit tree-topped over this 9, but I don't think it'll be an issue for him.
What kind of cue is or shaft is he playing with?
It looks like a keelwood shaft, so I'm not sure. We'll have to ask him after the match, but
yeah,
does it say anything?
Curious. What cue do you shoot with? He shoots with a LeBeau and Predator jump and break cue. So it's a LeBeau.
That's awesome.
Supporting the local.
Yeah, shout out to Sheldon.
Okay, he ended up okay here.
That was a nice way to play it.
Yeah.
Do you like to kind of just roll this one in and leave yourself kind of that negative angle on the 9?
Yeah, I kind of hit this in between, I would say. More of a roll than a punch, but kind of a little bit of a punch in there, and I'm kind of just trying to roll that cue ball into that first diamond to the right of that top side pocket, and just nice little pop it in and get shape, and anything but straight here on the 9. Because if you're straight in on the 9, you're drawing straight into the 10 the way it's set up. So either A side or B side, you can get on the 10 from here. Ideally, A side, though.
Right. He was able to kind of kill it. That was a good shot. But it does look like he has the angle where he's drawn kind of right at the 10.
Right.
You can cheat the pocket, though, and you can still play the 10 in the bottom right-hand corner.
It looks like our camera angle changed, which was awesome. Was that you, Jesse? Thank you. We need to be better about that.
Yeah.
Nice
That's
shot.
a great out.
Nice
Good job,
out from Luis there.
Gets one on the board and keeps it close.
So, as pool players, a pool player's dream is to have a pool table in their house. And according to Luis, he doesn't have one because he has too many kids.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well, it's pretty impressive for him to play at the level that he does and not have a table. I know that he goes out to Legends and what was the other place? He goes to 89 Sports Bar. That's right. So
both good places to play, have diamonds.
yeah, he's always on that grind. I know Luis.
And he's a nice guy. I've always had good interactions with him.
Oh, he's a great guy. Yeah, great family man, hard worker.
Definitely.
And he's definitely worked a lot on his game. I've known Luis for a long time, and from when I first met him till now, he plays a couple balls better for sure.
I like to hear it. I like to see people putting in the work and seeing the results. It's cool.
Yeah, he had an unfortunate scratch there, so Morgan's gonna have ball in hand here.
Where did he scratch there?
It looked like in the corner.
In
the left corner.
The
where he
back
was
left?
sitting. Yeah.
Okay, so it just kind of shot back or got kicked back. We got a question here. What is the very last thing you look at before shooting the ball? Object ball or cue ball? Oh boy.
That is the age-old question.
This is one of those questions that you start messing around with and you can't make a ball for a week after you try changing something about it.
Either that or you're playing like absolute god and then you get to the actual tournament and you completely fall apart. So.
Yep, because you still don't trust it. You still don't trust what you've recently adopted. But to answer the question, I think it's preference. You know, I saw a video with Jason Shaw that Morgan actually sent us that he was talking about how he looks at the cue ball last. Cole and I know that Oscar Dominguez looks at the cue ball last.
Yeah. Jeremy Jones does.
And Cole, I know you put a lot of emphasis on eye pattern and you've worked quite a bit on that. So you might be more qualified to answer this question than me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only important thing is that you know what your eye pattern is. I ask a lot of kind of, I wouldn't say like lower level, but players that haven't really put a ton of time into their game on those aspects and they don't really know. And I think as long as you really know what it is and you're putting focused practice to that, that's the most important thing.
I can agree with that, and that boils back down to preference, you know, whatever works best for you. And that's a pretty generic answer. Of course, one person's preference might be different than another, but I tend to look more upward towards the object ball because I feel like I have a disconnect with my speed control when I'm looking at the cue ball last. I can strike the cue ball more accurately that way, but then I'm losing that gauge for my speed control. So
for sure.
What do you think?
Yeah, for me, I tend to look at the cue ball last, but I think the most important thing for me, I could probably do it either way, is having a nice long pause on either the cue ball or the object ball. I think it's not for everybody. Some players like to have more of like an Efren-esque, like a 1-2 as they're stroking. And not much of a pause on the cue ball or object ball, but for me, it kind of lets me settle a little bit, and I know you kind of do the same thing.
Definitely, yeah, because you want to know exactly what portion of that tip is hitting what part of that cue ball, and taking that extra second to pause and hone in onto that exact spot on the cue ball really lets you connect with the shot. And speaking of that, this is one of those shots where that would be extremely beneficial for Morgan here because he's got a little funny thing to do with the 3 here. It looks like he's going to have to use some spin going around either side of the 10 to clip this 3 in, and then not to mention the fact that the 4 is jailed up behind the 5 there.
Yeah.
So I don't think he can go to the left side of the 10 here and make 3. Maybe he can. What do you think?
It's kind of tough to say. It seems like he could hit the bottom rail and kind of double kiss it in a little bit. It seems like if he's going on the other side of the 10, he has to masse. It's a touchy shot for sure, and position is obviously not built in. But yeah, he kind of double kissed it in.
And I think that's one of those shots where you can't really come up with a great plan, so you kind of have to just shoot it in a way to give yourself the best chance.
And just stay at the table.
Stay at the table, possibly get yourself a look on the floor, which he accomplished there. Sometimes pool's a game of chance, you know, and there's a lot of luck, and there's also a lot of skill and strategy, but sometimes you just have to let the universe decide for you and give yourself the best chance on making a more broad choice on what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. It's a touchy little positional shot.
Oh, that's such a touchy shot. You know, that's one of those ones that you pull out not too often in 9-ball, more in one pocket, I would say. You see that a lot. That little short stun forward, definitely a tough shot.
Yeah.
Different stroke than you normally use, and he almost got it. Just leaked out a little bit.
Yeah, and he's definitely left this on, so Luis is going to have to come with it here. He can almost draw into the 10, or he can just follow 2 rails, whatever he's feeling more comfortable with.
I like the way he played it, 2 rails.
Yeah.
And he's going into the line like we were talking about earlier. He went
Beautiful.
into it beautifully. He's straight in. All you got to do is stop his rock, and he's got shape on the 6.
Looks like Steven in the chat. Is that the famous Chris Byers and Cole Gibbons? Yes, it is, sir.
Certainly.
Hope you're doing well. Trevor, he says, Dylan, it's okay to be weird. It absolutely is.
You have to be to play this game.
Paul Marquez, what's up, fellas? Nice to hear.
Mr.
Champs
Marquez.
on the mic. Oh, you're too kind,
Trevor,
man.
good to hear from you as well.
Right back at you, Paul. All right, so really just if this 9 goes in the side, it's kind of hard to tell. If it doesn't, he can still kind of pinch this over with some spin and play the 9 in the upper left-hand corner pocket. But it's always touchy when you have the ball kind of next to the point on the side pocket like that.
Oh, yeah.
Even if
you
it
do not want to
goes-
be there. You don't want it to be there if you can control it, but I think he's got to either get perfectly straight in or pinch this in and take an angle on the 9. It doesn't look like it's frozen the long rail, though, so I think that kind of eliminates the scare of hitting that point.
For sure.
Oh, I didn't even know he had a chance to shoot in the side there.
Yeah, it looked tight, but he kind of got fortunate there. If this is me, I'm probably ducking just because cutting it all the way down is a tough order. But
You want
I
to
would
tell everyone what your duck would be here?
I would just play the 9-ball down to the center diamond on the end rail on the side that the 10 is on, and just try to contain the cue ball in the middle of the table down here, like kind of middle diamond on this side.
And I think Luis rushed that 9 a little bit too. I think he kind of diverted from his pace that he's had, where he's taken a little time to process it. I think he saw it and he thought it was good, and he just pulled the trigger, which happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
And Morgan went for a tough shot there.
Yeah.
I think your shot was definitely the higher percentage, but I think if you're feeling good, then, give yourself the opportunity to win.
Absolutely. And I was going to say, if you cut that in and you get out there, it really adds a layer of confidence. So I don't blame him at all for taking that on, but it's also just how you're feeling in the moment.
We're about to reach halfway point here.
Chris Cole, what is your most memorable win? That's a great question. What would you say is your most memorable win?
I would like to hear yours first.
No, don't you even try.
I already tried.
I would say probably when I beat Oscar for the first time down on the Mez Tour. I had just been going down there all those times, all those stops, all those countless miles driven, and going to and out all the time, and then finally getting to a position where I could win a match here and there, and then finally beating the guy that kind of inspired me. That was a really powerful moment for me.
That's awesome. And yeah, I've seen your game grow so much from when we first met each other almost 10 years ago now. It's crazy. And there's so many parts of your game that I respect and I try and emulate myself, just how solid you keep yourself at the table mentally. At the Northwest Cup, you were kicking like Efren Reyes, and you were holding yourself together and shooting good, and I obviously have a lot of respect for that. So
For sure, I appreciate that, man.
I'm gonna pat you on the shoulder and say good job, and
Yeah.
I love it. Love to have seen it over the years.
Yeah, no, that means a lot. Obviously, the right back at you, the same can be said for you. You're a large part of why my game is the way it is today. So what's yours? What's your most memorable victory?
Oh, let me think. I have a lot of memorable losses. I'm just kidding. Boy. Well, it looks like Paul brought up
Yeah.
my Rodney Morris match. That was a pretty good one. I think
9-1.
some entity possessed me in that moment, and I just, my soul left my body, and another one entered and took over my body to run a bunch of racks. But that was pretty cool. Beating Jeff DeLuna, I beat Oscar once on the Mez Tour as well. Trying to think. It's been a long time since I've had any really memorable ones like that, but I'd say around those were
Yeah, for sure.
probably the good ones I can think of at the moment.
Looks like Morgan kind of played a containing shot there. I'm not sure if he was going for the combo, but either way, he didn't leave it easy for Luis.
I think he can clip off the right side of the 1 and float the cue ball in between the 6 and the 5 and snug him up on the 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the shot he has.
If you're feeling really squirrely, you can clip off the 1 here with some inside into the rail where the 6 is and try to go for the 10. But you might just sell out.
Say that again.
Carom off the 1 into the 10 with inside 1 rail. But that might be suicide.
Yeah, I would say so, because
You're
I'm
like,
still
I don't even
trying
know
to
what you're talking
process it.
about.
Oh, so
Like with
basically like
inside.
what he just did, but with inside. Okay, I
Yeah.
see.
You're kind
I
of
gotcha.
guaranteed to sell out, but
Yeah, but
if you're feeling spicy.
I mean, if you make it,
So he's left Morgan a pretty makeable jump here. And you can actually kind of draw this over for that combo on the 2-5. It's definitely doable with the pace that he's coming in to the 1 with.
I think he's got to pull out shorty, which he did, and Morgan's got that new
It's the hand shoe, right?
hand shoe. Yes, those things are amazing.
Oh, did we not update the...
It should be 4-4, right?
Yeah, I think Luis is up to 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
I apologize. Appreciate that, you guys.
Sometime Cole stop making all
Nah,
these
well,
scoring errors.
I gotta put Chris in charge, I think. I'm just dogging it. But it looks like he has the kick
Did he
on
just
the 2-5.
jump that in?
Yeah, he jumped it in.
Oh,
Didn't
we
get
missed it.
shape, but he does have a nice kick here. You got to hit it with a little speed so you don't get glued to that 2 ball. But I think he's definitely a favorite to make this and come out okay.
If you hit the 2 solid, you're making the 5. If you hit it thin, too thin, you're not gonna make it. But he hit it solid, and I think he can throw this in with a lot of outside.
Mm-hmm.
If not, he has options as far as defense.
Yeah, he's kind of letting the cue ball loose a little bit, but yeah, I think that I think he can definitely attack here.
And Trevor said, "What a jump! Squat that one or squat that cue." Definitely wish we would have saw it
Yeah,
when we weren't fumbling around with the score.
exactly.
It looks like he can make this, and I think the cue ball path here is you play the cue ball to hit just below the right side pocket, and you play the cue ball in between. Playing slippery, and it's newer felt. The cue ball is going to go long, and he hit it a little too thick there. But the angles play longer with the newer felt, so you can actually manipulate that. Whereas on an older table with older felt, the angles play shorter, so it would be tough to maintain that line. But
Yeah.
I think he could have done it.
Looks like he did leave a jump here. It's tough because you have to hit the two so thin, but I think he's got a shot here.
I noticed that Luis really likes the masses. I think he's comfortable with that.
Yeah.
More so than jumping.
And he's almost eyeing up the kick instead, it looks like. Just coming right below the side pocket on the bottom half of the screen as we're looking.
Kind of right by that first diamond to the right of the side.
Mm-hmm.
With some, maybe, I'd say like two tips right.
Yeah, and the new felt kind of, or the clean felt and clean balls kind of plays to your advantage here because it'll lengthen out. Lengthened out a little too much there. So what's your mindset in this rack to get out?
My mindset is setting myself up for success immediately. And what I mean by that is getting myself in line right off the first shot, because you have to think about it as a chain reaction, right? So if I get myself out of line on the very first shot when I have ball in hand, that's already setting up problems for me right in the beginning. But if I stay in line, that builds the momentum to keep staying in line.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty simple to stay in line here. He got on the right side of the ball just fine, so he can come one rail or two rails around to get shape on the four. But it's just that concept, like if you start out good, you're more likely to end good.
Absolutely. And he kind of, even though he ended up to where he can make the four pretty easily here, he ended up a little bit funny. He's kind of navigate these three balls in the middle of the table. You're almost better off going in between the 8 and the 9. Just kind of favoring the side of the 8, so if you do run into the 8, you're still okay on the 6.
Do you think he has room to go in between the 7 and the 8 here, or the right angle?
Yeah, he could, but it's a little bit...
It's a little tight.
Touchy. He could just try to thin it with inside and just kind of play a long shot. Just come underneath the 7 here. But yeah, he's looking at that line. I like that line because you have a lot of margin for error.
Mm-hmm.
So
another option I like here, if you're feeling good, is you can draw this with low outside, long rail, and then hit about the middle diamond of that short rail on the left and play like 3 rail low outside position like that.
Yeah.
If you're feeling good and the angle's right for it. Nothing wrong with what he did here other than the speed control. I also liked your option as well.
Yeah, so he got a little unfortunate there to get tree-topped on the 10. He just chose to leave himself a little distance on the 6, which there was nothing wrong with that. But this is tough because you have to power it in order to get back down for the 7. I like just kind of leaving yourself middle of the table in between the 8 and the 9 so you have a shot on the 7. Not doing too much.
Looks like he's
Well, that's a good shot. Play safe.
Oh. Tough to avoid that side pocket there.
Yeah, I like that idea though, because if he hits just above that side, he gets down on the bottom rail, and most likely Luis is hooked. So
Agreed. Just a little thinner on that ball. He had to hit, but super tough when you're jacked up like that.
And I don't think Luis came down far enough. It looks like the 9's got him partially hooked here. I could be wrong, but
I think he is partially hooked. Nice. He can
hit
see it.
good. Came into line perfectly. Just kind of pulled us back a little bit.
He's taking a minute, making sure.
Yeah, and if not, you can just roll forward a little bit and get the angle to go down to the bottom rail and back up 2 rails.
He can
maybe 3.
He can just either roll this in or stop it right there and do exactly what you just said, and just use 2 rails to his advantage and just play right for the 10. Oh, he went for the corner instead. Nothing wrong with that. It looks like he'll either have to draw to the short rail and back up for the 10, or if he wants to, it looks like he's going to follow okay.
This shot will really show you kind of how you're feeling when you
Great shot.
power that in like that and come around. Yeah, it feels good.
Didn't even come close to scratching either, which is good.
So Luis is going to take the lead.
Nice out.
5-4. We're going to get on top of that score right away. Chris Aldrich says, hello from Washington. How's it going, Chris? So kind of the halfway point in the match. If you're Morgan, what are you thinking? Are you taking a break at some point? Are you just kind of keeping on, keep that momentum going? I mean, both of them are playing great.
It's a good question. It's close. There's only 1 game difference. It's halfway through the match. It's a race to 9. We're about, 30, 40 minutes into it, or 45 maybe. So I don't know if I'd take a break just yet. I think maintaining the pace that they're maintaining it would be just fine.
Yeah,
I think if Morgan was down for whatever reason, or Luis was down, taking a break wouldn't be a bad idea just to reset. But I think they're both in the zone, and it's okay to just keep playing unless you got to go to the bathroom or something.
For sure. Well, it appears he's got a shot on the 1. Kind of natural position to get on the 2, but the 3-4 look a little bit tied up. Let's see if we can. Yeah, so are you just trying to play position to play a safe on the 3?
Oh, he got a hold of that one. Good draw stroke. I think he set himself up to run into the 3 here.
Yeah, he can go to the bottom rail and then into him that way. That's a great shot.
Nice
wow.
shot. And he got rewarded here. He's got a shot. He can just come make. All he's got to do is focus on making this 3 ball with some low right.
Yep.
And if he does that, he's gonna have shape.
Yeah, it's kind of more of a spin shot than anything, and then just pocket that ball and you'll come right across.
Exactly.
Avoid the 7.
That outside English is crucial here because it helps turn that ball in.
Just kind of reassessing, getting that shot line again, which it's a great idea to do that. Not every player does that. I see a lot of even top pros that they rarely look at the shot line and they play perfect. But myself, I like to kind of look down the line of that shot, that ball going into the pocket before I shoot it.
And the pros also play all day, every day, and so it when you're doing that, you don't have to always put in that extra step. But for players like most of us around here that have other lives and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
taking that extra step to make sure the shot line's on and you got it in your mind, not a bad idea at all.
Yeah.
Especially when you're shooting blind like that, where you can't see the pocket that you're shooting into.
Yeah, and it really just ties into pre-shot routine, which I think that's the most important thing a player can invest in for their game. Is just knowing that they have a solid pre-shot routine and they stick to it on every shot.
I agree. He might have came down a little too far here, but
Yeah. You can just kind of drift this in with a touch of inside and he'll come center table.
I think he's on the 6-ball, yeah?
Yep. Oh, yeah, no, you're right.
So he's going to have to go with a lot of outside here.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that ball. So, yeah, just a little bit funny here. He's probably going to end up having to play safe. He can just kind of thin this ball to the center diamond, kind of near where it's at, and then bring the cue ball up table with a touch of inside. Just like a super thin, delicate hit. Just kind of keep it simple. He chose to go 2 rails, nothing wrong with that either.
And that could have been really jam up safe if he just hit it a little harder and got behind that 8. Still not a bad layout though, or bad leave, sorry. Morgan doesn't have
Doesn't look like he has the full ball here.
No, he doesn't have the full ball. He does have a couple safe options here, I think banking the 6 straight up table to the other short rail and playing the cue ball behind the 7 ball.
Yeah, just like a bit of inside to kill the cue ball.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of high inside, and you can try and even get close up on that 7 if you can. He likes
That's
to
not
go
a bad
thinner.
way. Yeah, he hit that great. And I think he pretty much hooked him full ball. So Luis is going to have a decision to make here. I think probably a kick and stick to where you're sending the cue ball or the 6 ball 1 or 2 rails up to where the 8 is and leave the cue ball down there on the bottom rail. Kind of tough to execute that shot, but definitely one that you need to develop and put in your arsenal.
I agree. Lots of shots you need to have in the arsenal for sure.
He could also go 2 rails and try to call the 6 in the bottom right hand corner as we're looking, and the cue ball naturally is going to go up table. Even if you miss it, you're likely to end up somewhat safe. So
That's what he's looking at here.
not sure what that was, but yeah, so he ended up missing it.
That's a tough one to gauge.
It is. And it gives a good opportunity for Morgan to tie this up.
Looks like
We have somebody named Irina in the chat. I'm not sure who
I don't
that
know.
is.
I don't know who the heck that is.
Yeah, but she said, "Hi, Cole and Chris. Let's go, Morgan." How's it going, Ira? Hope you're doing good.
Hi, babe. I'm kidding. I know who you are. Don't worry. I know you were stressing really hard there for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, I like what he's doing here. Just kind of coming to center table. Leave good angle on that 7. Don't get too straight.
He got pretty straight here.
I think he's going to be okay, though. He can... Yeah, he's going to be okay. He can draw this...
Just draw it straight back.
Yeah, a little past where it is now. And
the nice thing about the way this sits, too, is you can really just let your draw go. Because rather than trying to draw perfectly into the line of the 8 without hitting that end rail, you could just power draw the crap out of it and go into the end rail and back out and likely have a shot. But
Yeah.
no, probably not the smartest way to play. I think he played it a much smarter way than what I said. But
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but he cheated the pocket nicely to kind of create that angle to punch out a little bit. So he's sitting good here. He'll just probably float one rail, play the 10 in the upper right as we're looking. And he hit it good. Kind of jumped up a little bit on that, but
yeah, a little bit of the yips there, but
that's okay. That's something
okay.
that we will all do until the end of time.
Oh, don't you know it. Nicely
Good
done,
out.
Morgan. Good out.
It was a great match. Tied up 5-5.
Can't ask for better than this.
Hope everybody's doing good in the chat. Yeah, this is such a great production and so good for the Northwest pool scene. So I'm really happy to be here, especially with you commentating on this.
Absolutely. I'd love to give a shout out to Jesse here for running the show, and he has a beautiful home, beautiful setup.
Yeah.
Definitely got some good vibes here.
Yeah.
I'm liking it. It's my first time here. I think you've been here once before, no?
No, this is my first time.
Okay.
So yeah, it's awesome.
Definitely a cool setup. And especially the pool room, you know, you see all the pictures and the little fish tank thing going on, and there's some style and decorations. It's not just a blank room, you know.
Yeah, and I think
Like,
that might be a video, but it looks like a fish tank. Yeah, Morgan is set to break here. Seems like he's rubbing his hands. He might be feeling a little cold.
is it cold out there?
That can be tough. Like when you're playing and you start to feel a little cold. At the Northwest Cup, it was cold.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we finally got some heaters in there and it started to warm up, but that can kind of get in your head a little bit when you have things that are outside of your control that are starting to creep in a little bit into your mind. Maybe you miss a ball and you kind of blame it on the fact that it's cold. Yeah, so
Looks like we might be taking a slight bathroom break here.
okay.
I think Morgan's taking a bathroom break.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're gonna
Maybe
step off for just
we'll
a second. We'll
take
be
a break
right
as well.
be right back with you guys.
Hey guys, while they're taking a break, I just wanted to let you know, Stephanie is a realtor. And if you love her on the microphones here at P&W Pool Thing, you'll really love her as a realtor. So if you're thinking about buying a home, or you maybe want to know where you're at in the process of trying to buy a home, can I qualify, can I do whatever, give her a call. She knows a ton of different programs that people who think they're not qualified could possibly qualify for. So if you're at all thinking about that, just reach out to her or us. Give us a call. And with that being said, I'll get you back to Cole and Chris.
Never mind. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, Stephanie's awesome. I've known Stephanie for a long time, since back in the Sam's days, and yeah, she's a great person. Looks like Morgan is pretty... Oh, he did not make a ball, so... Looks like Luis is pretty flat on this ball. Kind of hard to take it on and try to get position. You almost are just looking to pocket it and then play a safe off the 2. Which he got a lot out of that, but I think he's going to still have to duck here. And he's got a nice wall of balls with the 3-9-6, so he can just play this and play the cue ball 2-3 rails behind those balls and clip off the right side of the 2. Which is what he's doing. Looks like he hit it a little too thin, but he still might have hooked him on the 5. I think that Morgan can still make this rail first, though. So he's just looking at if he can get on the proper side of the 3 to open up the 6-9, and with the 4 laying there, you got some good insurance. These are the type of shots you want to hit a little bit easier rather than harder, just because they can get away from you pretty easy. So just let the spin do the work. The only danger here really is kind of running into that 7 ball. But I think he's got a good opportunity here to set up nicely on this 3 after making the 2. Yeah, he got perfect, so he can kind of stun into this 9-6, and he's got the 4 right there next to the side. It's a little tricky because you can't really get on the proper side of the 4. You have to settle a little bit for position, but the 5 is pretty accessible, so. I think he might have just took his eye off the ball there because he opened everything up nicely. He actually got really good on the 4 to just kind of come forward with some inside and play the 5 in the side, but didn't really leave Luis anything easy here. What do you like here, Chris?
This is an awkward situation, unless the 3 passes into the bottom right corner.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
I think it does.
And if it does, you have some almost built-in position where the cue ball goes off the side rail, the end rail, and then comes back up. Ooh,
Morgan's not going to like this.
Yeah, Morgan's really good at jumping from close distances, though, so I think this is kind of automatic for him. And if you hit this ball, you actually have a pretty high chance of making the 10, so I don't think he's hating this.
Paul says you versus Sean Lewis would be a fun match. I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah, Sean's game is great. I really respect his game, so. Yeah, I'm always down to spar and get in the box. Oh, man, that's kind of worst possible scenario since that 10's sitting so available.
Do we have the score correct here? 5-5.
Yeah.
Terry Drake's asking if the score is off. I don't think it is, but
no, I'm pretty sure it's on.
Looks like Luis is trying to line up a possible combo here. I'm not sure if he can cut that 3 enough.
Yeah, and it's a little tricky because if you don't hit it in, it's surely just going to sit right in the pocket. Now he's you could carom it as well, but now he's looking at just running out, which I don't mind this at all because everything's laying pretty open, so.
I like what he's doing here. I like going for the out because, like you said, everything's open. There's no reason to try and get cute with caroms and combos if you have a wide open table, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree.
Nice shot. Oh, he got unlucky there.
That is brutal. Well, Morgan went from feeling like he was surely going to lose that game to having ball in hand with 6 balls on the table. So that's a pretty good turnaround for him.
It's funny how the game works like that. It can change in an instant.
Yeah.
Now, his key shot to success in this rack is going to be how he gets himself on the 6 to get on the 7.
Yeah.
Which is why he's taking this extra time, because this is the most crucial shot. He's got a lot of traffic between the 6 and the 7 on all his natural cue ball paths.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what looks like what he's going to do is he's going to play the cue ball in the center of the table there, leave himself on A side of the 6. And for those of you who don't know, A and B side, A is left side of the ball, B is right side of the ball. So now I don't know what he's thinking to do here as far as getting on this side of the ball, unless he was trying to get straight.
I think he was trying to get a little straighter and maybe just leave the angle to follow one rail and play the 7 in the top right corner.
Okay.
Now he's kind of got himself in the position where he has to draw kind of in between the 10 and the side pocket and play the 7 in the opposite corner down on the bottom rail. Didn't quite get enough draw on it. I think he can still cut this ball in. And honestly, I mean, besides just playing the 7 one rail up to where the 8 is and leaving the cue ball down on the bottom rail, I don't see a ton of great safety options here.
No, there's not a whole lot.
Unless he's feeling frisky, he just wants to bank this where the 8 is.
Or he's feeling frisky and back cuts it 90 degrees in the corner there.
Perfect.
I'd say that's pretty frisky.
Oh yeah.
That's not a bad shot at all, Morgan.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
I think he can kind of follow forward here 2 rails. Or just play the 9. Yeah, that'll work.
Beautiful. Not bad at all. Now let's just either elevate slightly and play that cue ball 3 rails back to where it is now, or he just cinches it like this. Takes a little bit longer shot. No biggie.
Just bear down and make this.
Just
and
keep that head down. Nice follow through, which he did both those.
Beautiful. So now he is within 3 of victory. And it looks like maybe Luis is taking a quick breather. I'm not sure, but yeah, they've kind of gone blow for blow here.
They have. There hasn't been more than a 2-game lead this whole match, right? Or even 1-game lead.
I think early on there was. I could be wrong.
Okay. I'm looking on this board next to us here. There's a bunch of matches that have happened here in the Lion's Den.
That's awesome. What do you think? Are you gonna get in the box here?
Well, if someone wants to try and match up, then yeah.
This is our first one.
Oh wow.
22nd.
Nice. Oh yeah, I remember watching that one.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good match.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Shit, I accidentally hit the button.
Oh shoot. So it looks like dry break from Morgan. I mean, if Luis is feeling super good, he could cut this in, but I think probably the higher percentage shot is to play the 1 down to the bottom rail. You have a ton of balls there to hide behind. Go in between the 4 and the 7. But he went for it.
That was a tough shot.
Yeah, it was. And to get shape was equally tough. But sometimes when you're up there, you're just feeling it. And
You are.
It's like, I'm going. So you can't blame him for that.
And it's different. It's such a different perspective looking at the table from here as opposed to when you're at the table.
Yeah.
Because here it looks like a tough shot, but then you get up there to the shooter's position and you're like, okay, maybe I should shoot this shot. It might not be so bad.
Yeah. That was a nice shot. He kind of just punched out. kind of ended up in a position where he has to decide between kind of killing this ball, maybe even drawing up into the 9. But I don't really like that. I think just kind of bouncing off the rail, leaving yourself a little more distance. Just don't try to get too cute with it. But the 3 to the 4 is going to be tricky either way.
That's a nice shot. He hit that perfect. He didn't elevate himself over any balls. He's got a good look on the 3, and he's got some angle to work with here. I think he can shoot the same kind of shot as he did on the 1 with this 3, and either play shape for the 4 in the top left corner there, or if he's real frisky, play it in the left side pocket there.
Yeah, the issue is that he seems pretty flat on it, so he can't really go forward easily. And if he's drawing it, he's almost sure to run into the 9. So this is going to take something pretty special here to continue this run out.
I think he's got enough angle to pop out.
Yeah, to follow forward with, or just to stun it out.
Either or. Honestly, I think what you said about the follow is a better option here, looking at the angle now.
Yeah, and it could just be the angle's deceiving for me, but it looks pretty flat to where he's like coming kind of out towards the 6. Oh, he hit it great.
Wow.
What a shot.
Great shot.
And he stayed down the entire time.
You can't hit it better than that.
Beautiful.
And he got himself on the right side of it too, where he can just come over to the 5.
How do you like to hit the shot? Like come into the side rail and out, or just kind of pinch it in and hold it for the 5?
Let's take a look at the angle here. I think I'm coming into the side rail.
Just let your stroke out a little more.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. It's hard to tell here on the screen. Considering how easy he made it look just to pinch it like that, I probably would have pinched it. Just depends. If there was a little bit more angle, definitely going into the side rail. But if there's a little bit flatter angle, I like to pinch it just to keep it a little bit more simple, which is what he did.
That was a great shot. He held the proper line to get on the 7 ball. He can just kind of roll forward here.
Now here's a great example of playing the proper side of the 7 in order to come into the shot line on the 8.
Right.
So if he decided, hey, I'm going to draw this cue ball back and play the 7 in the top right corner, well, now he's going to be playing the cue ball 2 rails and crossing the shot line of the 8, whereas if he just rolls the 6 in, plays the 7 in the bottom right corner, then he's going to go 2 rails and coming into the shot line of the 8.
Yep, exactly.
And I think he recognized that, but he got pretty straight here, so.
Yeah, I think he just feels like the 8's so available next to that corner that as long as he makes that 7, he can pull back just a little bit, and the 9 is also right next to the side. So I think kind of coming 2 rails into the line of the 8 is probably the higher percentage shot. Like 99 racks out of 100, you're going to get on that 8 there, but I don't think there's anything wrong with this.
I think he let up a little bit on that one.
Yeah.
And he knows it. So now he's forced to do something a little bit more excessive here than he would have liked.
Yeah, and like a good way of putting it is he's forced to do something out of his comfort zone, which you never really want to be doing late in a rack when you only have a couple balls on the table. You know, he can kind of roll this ball in and hold on the 9 inside, or he can come up and play the 9 kind of where he's standing right now.
Let's take a look at this angle from this view. Now, he could probably hold this with like a kill, drag, draw, low outside, or
just high ball and just really
run into
roll
it.
in.
He could just run into it. I mean, it's not the prettiest way to approach it, but you can run into that ball 10 different ways in this situation and still end up with a shot.
Yeah, I kind of like just rolling this in with a touch of inside and just getting the cue ball maybe about 6 inches to the left of where it's sitting right now, and having the 9 in the lower left as we're looking at it.
I like that. I also like this too.
That was a good shot.
That allowed him to let his stroke out and just pocket the ball. And
doesn't have a ton of rail there to work with in between the 9 and the side, but he's definitely got enough to where he can come over to where his hand is right now.
yeah, he jumped up on that one.
Yeah, that was a great shot on the 8, though. He surprised me because I didn't even see that shot. All right, Luis has got a cut here. I'd say he's the favorite to make this.
Nice shot. Especially since Luis has been in the chair for a minute now.
Yeah, and that's kind of the worry with that shot, is you either have to just kind of smooth it in and, to guarantee position on the 10, or you kind of go all out, and that's what he did, and he left himself a little tough here. He's cut. So he called the ball while he's down on the ball, which that would definitely mess me up. I'd have to get back up, but...
Oof. Valiant effort there. And he got fortunate to leave Morgan with the bank or some sort of safe, but playing safe in this position is so tough. I mean,
yeah, I think you got to go for the bank in the bottom left. And you can kind of play it with a kind of kill the cue ball down on the bottom rail. So if you do miss it, you're pretty much guaranteed to leave Luis pretty tough.
And the key is, if you're going to bank this, miss it thick. And you play it at a speed to where the object ball hits the short rail and then floats back up towards the side pocket, but not quite, so you leave him a tough cut.
Yeah, he was going for like a side-to-side safety there, and he just hit it a little bit too full. So Luis is going to tie this up. That's the thing. Sometimes when you butcher a safety like that, it looks so bad, but you really didn't hit it that off from what you needed to. So that's just kind of the nature of pool. Six to six.
6-6.
Got a great match here.
Well, it's been a while since you and I have commentated last, so it's been a pleasure to commentate together again.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've had some good matches down on the Mez Tour with Raw, where we've gotten to get in the box a little bit.
Yeah, commentating with Roz is fun.
It's awesome.
He brings the energy for
sure.
Oh
yeah, Raw is the man. He's one of a kind.
He hit those. That's solid. He got good energy transfer into the rack. Question is, does he have any sort of reward from it? And I would have to say no.
Yeah.
That is not. He did not get anything good out of that.
Yeah, and this is the kind of situation where if you're Morgan, you got to just brush off what just happened, and you have to be thankful that Luis is almost guaranteed to push out here, and you're going to be coming to the table with kind of equal footing. So it's easy to get kind of set on those mistakes you made in previous games, and you just got to kind of move on. Easier said than done.
Exactly.
Though.
It's that short-term memory again. You just forget it ever happened and fall back on all the good things that have happened in this match and how good you've played up to this point.
Right. And you got to race to 3 essentially for the cash. So
for the cashish.
And more importantly, the trophy and the title.
Yes. That is the most important.
Well, I think he wanted to let that go a little bit further, so Morgan's going to definitely give this back. There's not really a benefit to taking this on for him, so.
No, yeah, he's got to give this back. Now, if Luis hits this one ball well, if he kicks into the bottom long rail from where we're seeing it, and he clips the right side of the 1 thick enough, he can play the cue ball down towards the 10, bank the 1 past the 3. He's going the other way with it, which is fine. It's the same shot, just the other side, and looks like he hit the 3 first.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He called it on himself, so.
Yeah.
You love to see that on kind of close hits when the shooting player just calls it on themselves and kind of removes doubt.
Like Mickey Krause in the Moscone Cup.
Exactly, yeah.
He called it on himself.
And that was an interesting situation because Marcel didn't actually see the double hit. So
Which is, you don't have to see it in that instance, though, because you can just see the way the balls reacted to know that was a double hit.
Right.
Which it surprised me that the ref didn't jump on it quickly. But anyways, that's beside the point.
Yeah, Morgan has a pretty doable layout, provided that 5-8 goes, which it looks like it's at least throwable into the corner there. So I think if anything, he can open it up here with just a touch of inside, and he has a 3 right there. So we'll just see what he does.
Excellent.
Nice. Good execution there.
It must have not been lined up well, so he made the right choice of taking care of it now.
Yeah.
More importantly, on the 1 ball, deciding to leave himself that angle on the 2 from the beginning was a good choice.
We're going to see a good stroke shot here.
Look at that.
Just caught it a little bit on the wrong side. I think he's going to be okay as far as not scratching, but he definitely was trying to play the 5 ball where the cue ball's sitting.
What do you think about utilizing that 9 ball hanging in the side pocket right now?
Yeah, no, I think you got to go for the combo on the 9.
That's what he's calling. Now I can't see. Okay, so as far as the cue ball is concerned, he's tracking towards that 10 ball.
Yeah, I think you can draw it into the 8 to kind of hold it. It's obviously pretty tough to control the 5 off of the shot, but ideally it's tracking down towards the bottom corner pocket on the same rail. But either way, you're going to be left with a pretty tough shot on the 5. It's kind of just about staying at the table here.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, so a little unlucky to clip that 10 and tie up the 8 a little bit. But more importantly, he doesn't really have a great offensive shot on the 5, and this is probably top 5 most difficult positions to be in pool. Jacked up with the ball not going, hooked on the point.
Yeah, you'll have night sweats about thinking about this shot.
So what do you think? What's the play? He's just going to clip off it, I think, and then just try to send the cue ball back down to where the 10 and the 8 are.
Oh, okay. Good things could have happened with that.
I like that idea, though. I mean, that's kind of all he had. Yeah, and with the 8 being a little bit funny, Luis definitely still has to come with it here to get out, so important to just get good angle on that 7 ball to come across. I think he can still cut the 8 in, and then come, 2 rails back down for the 10.
Good shot. I don't know. That might be tight there to still cut the 8 in the bottom right corner.
Yeah, and if it is tight, then you just kind of leave yourself the angle on the rail here to just kind of split them, run into the 10, and play the 8 where he's standing. Which is actually pretty high percentage. If you get good on that 7 ball, you're tracking right towards that 10 ball.
And if he gets straight here, he can even play for the combo. Both the balls are off the rail enough to where he can cut the 8 into the 10.
Absolutely. He's got a lot of good options here.
He's got wiggle room. And I think, let's take a look.
I think that's what he's doing. I think he's playing for the combo.
I think you have to here.
Yeah, just roll it in, get down on the bottom rail.
If you can freeze the cue ball to that bottom rail, then that's ideal.
Yeah, he got pretty good here.
Yeah, this should be Luis's rack here if he bears down and makes this.
It just feels like he needs to look at it one more time. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, he just doesn't quite like it, so with it being this big of a game, it makes sense to take this amount of time on it, though. And it's usually these types of combos where, from the outside perspective, it seems like it's unmissable, but you shoot it, you miss it, and you go, oh my gosh, like, how did I miss that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's good he took that time. He just went up 7-6. It's a big game.
I think it's the other one.
No?
No?
Yeah, no?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I was
Trying to mess me up.
I was testing. Good shot from Luis there. Put him up 7-6.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting down to the nitty-gritty.
It absolutely is. And really, Morgan didn't do much wrong there. I mean, he had a really long shot on that 3-ball. It's super easy to just barely catch the wrong side of the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And it just throws off your line so much coming down. So
Just the smallest little error or mistracking of your stroke, that's all it takes. And you can see just how little bit of a mistake makes such a huge difference in the line. Like you said, it's crazy how precise you have to be in this game and with your stroke and where you're striking the ball. And
yeah. No, it's unbelievable how precise Poole is. Shannon says, great match.
it
Paul
sure is.
says, Morgan's safety attempt was nice. Yeah, I think whenever you can just lay down a good attempt on a safety, it's like sometimes that's all you have, and it's not always going to work out, but you got to respect it. Oh, there we are.
Oh. Hello, everybody. Where's the camera? Oh.
What's up, guys? Here we are in all our glory.
Yep, we're playing perfect up here, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. Always do.
Yep.
From the
How'd you guys
booth.
get started playing?
So I got started playing in high school. We had a pool table in the science room, and so I would go in there kind of on my lunch break and hit balls, and me and my buddy, we quickly became kind of the best players in the school. And my science teacher, Buzz Polson, who's actually an instructor in Portland, he was our teacher, our physics teacher and math teacher, and so he kind of got me hooked on it. And then when I moved to Santa Cruz, my mentor, Al Markowski, he was running tournaments out of there, and he loved One Pocket, so I kind of got hooked on it from there, and then moved back up here, and kind of the rest is history. But yeah, what about you, Chris?
I started in a bowling alley when I was 13.
Yeah.
Just hitting balls, and then my dad would take me to his work at IBM, where they had a pool table in the lounge area there, and on the weekends. This was when I was 13 or so, and then when we found Hot Shots, and then I was getting dumped off at pool rooms all over the place to just hit balls all day and gamble and play, and
Sounds like a dream.
yeah.
Sounds like heaven now.
And I just became a pool junkie pretty quick after that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I like your story, because you had a teacher who actually used pool to teach, which
Yeah.
is super cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I wish more teachers would do that because there's so much science-y stuff you can learn from this game.
Yeah, there really is. Yeah, this game teaches you so much, and so much personal growth can come from it in so many different aspects. So I think it's a really important thing for younger people to pick up early on. And I think, of course, when you're young, you hate losing, and it's the hardest thing to learn how to lose. But I think that pool can actually be a really good teacher in that aspect.
Absolutely. It's tough to lose, and I heard someone say that Shane said, and I don't remember who it was, but Shane said something along the lines of you have to learn how to lose to someone you're not supposed to lose to.
Yep.
Something along those lines. I don't know if that's word for word, but that really hit home for me hearing that, because just because you're not supposed to lose to someone doesn't mean you're going to not lose to them, you know?
Of course.
A lot of things happen in pool, and you can easily lose a match you're not supposed to lose on paper, and it happens. You know, underdogs come up and beat you, and vice versa. If you're the underdog in the match, you can come up and beat the better player.
Right. Yeah, and I think that everybody likes that story of an underdog coming in and winning a match they're maybe not supposed to win, because that's how they end up being kind of the big dog down the line. So
Right.
you definitely need some of that. But back to the match, we got a great match here, 7-6, Luis up. Little bit of a dogfight in the early part of this rack. Morgan's got a decision to make. I think he can bank this. I don't think the 2 goes by the 6, which means you don't really have a ton of reward by making the bank.
I think if he goes for the bank and he misses it long, he's safe.
Right.
Because he can just kind of pull the cue ball or stop it there, and if he misses long, goes behind the 4 and the 5, and he's okay. And if he misses it short, he might be in trouble leaving a. So he intentionally played it long just to play the safe.
That was a good shot.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. It's a good shot. Now I can't tell if he left an edge of the 1 or not.
It looks like he did.
And I don't know if this 2 passes the 6. Let's take a look. No, it does not.
Yeah, it looks like he left an edge, but if he does cut this in, there's not really a reward for. Like, somebody's going to have to play safe on this too. Not really a way to develop it, so.
I think he called it. Caught a little thick.
Oh, that
and
was.
he got the safety there.
Yeah, a little bit of a roll there, but that happens. It's just part of the game. Morgan, he has a 1 rail kick. He's looking like he might even jump this. This is a lot closer than my comfort level for jumping, but some people are pretty good at this distance. So I know he doesn't mind the close jump as much. The other option he has is just to kick 1 rail to the end rail. And with the 2 not really being open up, as long as you contact the 1, you should be okay getting back to the table. The only thing I don't like about jumping this is if you do catch the 7 and the 2 remains tied up, like the 7 doesn't run into it, the 1's right there with ball in hand to open up the 2, or just kind of play the 2 up table.
Right. There's a lot to lose here if you don't hit the 1.
And you could even play stiff it, like below the side pocket where the 8 is. But now Luis does have ball in hand, and he has a perfect angle going into the side to. He could just make this and play the combo on the 6, or he can open it up if he doesn't feel good about the combo. What are you thinking here?
I'm looking. I'm thinking that running into it, things could get squirrely for him. So if he does have the option to shoot the combo and stay in line, I think that's a good option.
For sure.
I think if he could roll the cue ball just right up next to that 7 ball there. Actually, no, I like maintaining the angle he has because then he can kind of control his position on the 2 after shooting the combo.
Yeah, the only touchy part is that the 2 looks like it's going away from the rail after you make the 6.
Right.
So you just have to make sure it doesn't squirt out too far. I think you can still hold it there and play the 2 in the same pocket.
Yeah, he's trying to hold it.
And he ended up leaving another combo for Morgan. This one a lot more difficulty to it. So you might see Morgan opt to kind of duck here.
What's the duck?
I'm not sure if he has the angle to go underneath the 10 and the 9.
Looks like he... Yeah, that's what he did.
So
he
that's a
did it
good
well.
shot. Yeah.
Good call.
And now Luis really... I mean, you have a 1 rail kick the way he's looking, which isn't bad. You might opt to hit it a little softer and just kind of play a containing kick. He's looking now at the long rail kick, or the end rail kick, rather.
Yeah, you could either hit it soft or you hit it with speed and try and get some separation.
Yeah, that could be a good option too.
It looks like he's gonna go softy. Oh, it went long on him.
That was a good try. That would have been good speed to hit it with.
Now Morgan has a good opportunity here to tie it up once again.
Yeah, but this is a tough out. So you have the 6 and the 7 on the same rail, kind of frozen to that rail. And then you have the 9 and the 10, which I think the 9 goes, but it's close in that bottom right corner. So
Right. Now...
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if the 3 wasn't in that position, you'd probably think about developing the 7 now, kind of draw into it, but then you're too steep on the 3, so.
Right. I think the key here is getting good angle on that 6 ball, because if you get good angle on that 6, you can, at least my preference is to go 3 rails under the 9-10 there.
I like that.
And there's not much that can go wrong as long as you hit that cue ball hits right under the 9-10, you know.
Yeah.
Right in between those first and second diamonds there. You're not going to worry about scratching, or you just play it at a speed to get shape on that 7.
Yeah, and the other thing is if the 9 doesn't go on the bottom right, it looks like that 9-10 is fairly playable, the combo, so he definitely has options later in the rack, but just needs to take his time here and make sure he gets good on that 6 ball.
If he gets cue ball anywhere near the center of the table on the 6 ball, he'll be just fine. And he's maintained angle on the 5 in order to do that.
Yep, so he just has to plan his route here. You could also play 2 rails with low left.
Definitely.
Just kind of your preference, I think. A lot of players, like you said, it's your preference to go forward. Some people kind of avoid that high inside when they can. And it looks like you got pretty ideal to do your shot.
Perfect.
What I don't like about going the other way, where you're going with low left and hitting the long rail as we're looking at it, and then back up to the 7 in the same pocket, is you can underhit it.
Yes.
And this one, you're kind of guaranteed to have a shot on that 7 ball.
Or you can overspin it and scratch.
Yeah.
That's always a bad thing that can happen.
I think he's just got to settle and make this shot on the 7. The 8 is pretty much playable from where the 7 is now. Just bear down and make it, and then I think probably the highest percentage is to play that combo.
Yeah, and it looks like from here the balls are pretty close together, which makes the combo more predictable as far as the outcome is concerned. And
this is a lot more difficult than it looks. This shot right here.
It's just really important to keep that whole body still throughout the entire shot. Luis is going to have the option to take it or give it back. I'm assuming he's going to take it. Let's see what he's got here. I think he's got a cut in the corner.
Yeah, and this is a little touchy because you're close to the ball, so you can't really draw it because you're drawing it right into the side, but just like floating it in slow speed, it's just an awkward hit when the 8 ball's that close. But I think that he has enough angle to where he can just kind of float forward. But yeah, I mean, theoretically, if he doesn't like it, he could give it back to Morgan. I just don't see him doing that. Even some kind of safety would be a better option than doing that.
Looks like he's lining up to hit it really thin.
Yeah, it could be thinner than we think. So hypothetically, if he doesn't feel like he can make this ball, what would the safety option be?
Let me take one more look. He could shoot the 8 and into the short rail and snug it up under the 9 and the 10. That's a viable shot right there.
Could he play the 8 in the upper right hand corner as we're looking? Is that there?
No, I don't think so.
Too much of a.
Or he can play the 3-ball combo.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
If the combo's wired enough, he could just fly at it, and he could hit it at a speed where the 8 kind of stays down there. And so but then he might hang the 10, and Morgan has a carom or combo. And it looks like he overcut it.
Yeah, just barely.
Just barely.
That was a good try, Luis.
Tough shot.
So Morgan's ended up pretty ideal here to where if the 9 does go, he can get on it. And if it doesn't, he can draw back underneath the 10 and the 9 to play the combo.
Now, I don't know if he can shoot that 9. Maybe he can. He just has to be high on it. That's what he's looking at. But it's important on a shot like this, if you have to be on the high side of the ball, make sure you get on the high side of the ball. Do not underhit it, because if you underhit it, you have no shot. If you overhit it, you still have a shot at least.
That's not a bad way to play it, real first like that.
It looks like he can make it.
Yeah,
from here.
I think you're right. He got perfect.
It's a good shot.
It's a little touchy because he has to follow forward, and whenever the balls are close like that, you kind of second guess yourself a little bit.
You have to pretend the 10's not there.
Nice.
I
think he can manage this one.
I think that they just want to give us a good close match.
Yeah,
I think that's what's happening.
So. All right, 7-7. Starting to get a hang of the score.
Yes, for next time.
Yeah, exactly. Ed says, if you're losing, you're learning. That's definitely true.
True. And boy, is that an important lesson to solidify in your brain quick. That's a lesson that I had a hard time learning for a long time.
Yeah, we all have. Losing just feels unnatural, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it's really eliminating your ego in those moments, and your ego is your worst enemy.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
have to adopt that humility and realize that you're not someone who's going to win every single match, and You're going to lose. You're going to make mistakes. And, you know, Paul made a good point here. Lose like a champ. It's a good thing to say. Good way to think.
Well, I really think it's come down to the break for the last few games. Morgan's broken dry a few times, so Luis with a pretty good opportunity here. Come 2 rails underneath the 8, back over for the 2 in the same pocket. The 8 and the 6 really the only issue I can see. That 7 goes in the side. He
Looks
might
like you hit
overspun
that.
this.
No, I think you hit it perfect. Oh, let's take a look. Ooh, yeah, I think he just overhit it.
And like you said, it seems like when he had the option to jump, he kind of opted to either masse or kick, so he might not feel too good about jumping right now, but he's kind of forced to here.
He doesn't have too much of the ball to jump over, which is a plus, so
Yeah, for sure.
he can kind of level his jump cue out a little more.
Well, if you're going to miss it, you might as well leave your opponent long and dead straight.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Exactly. But Morgan can follow this for just a few inches and play the 3 in the side. It's really just going to be the 5 to the 6 to
Just-
unlock this rack to get
just
on the hill.
Bear down and make this ball
Yeah.
is what he has to do.
You can play the 6 in the corner that he's standing next to. It's just a matter of getting good on the 5 to do so. So it's kind of hard to say what the best route is to go there.
Well, if he rolls this ball in, he's more than likely to get on the wrong side of the 3. So I think if he makes this ball, he's going to have to play the 4 in the same side pocket as he plays the 3.
Yep.
Unless he shoots it the way he... Oh, even then, elevating the cue ball still went forward a little bit. So I think he's going to have to play the 4 on the side.
Yep.
But if he gets good on that, I mean, it's pretty smooth sailing if that 6 passes the 8.
Yeah, and if the 5 goes by the 7 in the side, he can kind of just draw over for the 6 in the corner. Which might kind of work out perfectly if that 7 is a little funny, because you can open up the 7 using the 5 in the same shot.
Is that 7 frozen?
It's hard to tell, but
I think, yeah, it is hard to tell.
okay.
And
So
he got a little squirrely here,
yeah,
frozen the rail. And I don't think that 6 passes 8, so this
no, yeah, I don't think so either.
is going to get tricky. The 5 to the 6 is the key shot here. Because if that 7's frozen to the point, he can force that 7 in the side,
Mm-hmm.
you know, bending the rail.
Right.
You know the shot.
Oh yeah,
Nice shot.
that was a good shot, and he actually ended up with a good angle to draw back. You got to really put a lot on this to avoid the side pocket.
And what you got to do here is the Corey Duel bending draw shot.
Oh yeah.
Actually, you really got to power this 5 because you'd have to go into the side rail, back to the left side rail, and back again.
That would be next level.
You'd have to hit this double break speed, or he
Yeah.
plays for maybe a carom on the 8 in the corner.
I think he's just going to settle for a tough shot on the 6.
See, Morgan's playing a lot smarter than I would, which is a good thing.
This is tough, though, because there's a dead scratch off the side of the 8 here. So he's just going to play safe.
Nice shot.
What a touchy shot there in that
That's
position.
super touchy.
At 7-7, that takes a lot of balls to play that.
I would be petrified shooting that shot at this point in the match, but he shot it well.
Yeah, so Luis has a pretty good kick here. You kind of want to play this 2 rails if you can.
Definitely.
Just give yourself a bigger pocket to make the 6.
Let's see. Okay.
He ended up okay. He left a pretty makeable bank for Morgan. I think you just got to go all out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at this stage of the match, you just don't want to let Luis back to the table and then, you know, he can break and run.
Oh, and if he decides to bank this 6, he has ample opportunity to run into the 7 if it is frozen.
Yeah.
Problem is, if he misses, then it's a sellout. But I think these kinds of banks are pretty high percentage.
They are. You just kind of use more spin than anything. A lot of low right.
And if you miss it long, you still have an opportunity to wiggle that ball in from this angle.
Now, if he's not feeling good about the bank, he could do what he's doing now, or he could clip off the other side and go 2 rails underneath the 10 and leave the 6 kind of on the first diamond by the side pocket.
Yeah. You could bank the 6 down to the middle diamond on that short rail and play the cue ball under the 10. Was that what you were saying?
Yeah, on the middle diamond, or, I mean, mainly focused on cue ball, but
I'm not sure.
I think that was a little bit too passive for that position.
I agree.
But, you know, Luis has a big decision to make here. He can bank it in the side. He could play the same shot we were talking about, clip off the 6, go underneath the 10, but it looks like he's going all out. He banked it long. It's going to end up okay, though. So this is a situation where I probably would clip off the 6 off of the right side, go 2 rails, and use the 9 and the 7 as blockers. The 6 is naturally tracking up towards that 9 ball. And it's just a really high percentage shot. Like when the pressure is on, you don't have to hit it perfect to know that you're going to end up somewhat okay.
Have to hit it perfect speed, though, to freeze both those balls to that long rail.
Yeah.
Now, Morgan left Luis an opportunity to make the 6 in the side, and it's a big pocket because of that 7 being there.
Yeah, and that's what he's looking at.
Now, if he makes this, and he hits it at a decent speed to kind of keep the 7 close to where it is now, he'll have himself a shot and a chance to get out.
What I really like about Luis's game is that he always gets up when he's not feeling quite right. It's a really important thing that a lot of players can learn from.
I
Just
noticed
not
that.
forcing yourself into something when you're not comfortable.
Definitely, he's really good at that, at making sure that he's comfortable and set on the shot before he shoots it. Definitely good quality to have.
And that was a great shot. He was a little unfortunate not to get a little bit better on this 7, but I think he can still make this. He kind of got right down after, so he must feel just good right off the bat. Doesn't want to get down on the end rail. I think he's going to be okay. A little bit touchy here, though, on position. He's probably going to have to play the 9 in the pocket he's standing next to.
This match certainly hasn't lacked on drama.
Yeah.
As far as the way the balls are lying, and they're having to come with some tough shots here, and they're executing pretty well, and it's good to see.
think this shot comes up so much where you want to play the 9 in the bottom in the upper right hand corner pocket as we're looking at it, and so you kind of force yourself in doing that. But if you just accept what the table's giving you and play the 9 in the other corner, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get there and at least have a shot on the 9.
It's a great point. I think it's perfectly acceptable to play the 9 in the top left. And I think the angle's set up just right for it, as long as he doesn't freeze himself on that short rail.
Right, and there is a scratch, obviously, so you just have to be careful.
That's what he elected.
Yep.
And he hit it perfect.
He hit it really good.
Well judged by Luis there.
Zach said he's banking that 8.
That's
You're braver than me, good sir.
That is an option as well. If you're comfortable with it, you can.
Yeah. No, you definitely can.
And Luis struck that 10 ball in with confidence there after getting out on a tricky situation there. So good on him.
Luis to the hill.
Luis is the first one to the hill.
What a match.
Yeah, great match.
Yeah, no matter what happens, both of these players have played their heart out, and yeah, that's all you can hope for in a match like this. We got Mike W in the chat. I'm guessing that's Mike Womersley. How's it going, man? Yeah, this is awesome. I think everybody's hoping for a hill thriller, but
that would be nice.
Everybody except for Luis, that is.
And Luis's fans.
Yeah.
Are probably not hoping for that as well.
Yeah. Do you got any more info on Luis we want to go over while we got a second?
Yeah. Looks like Luis loves all the games, and as long as he's playing, he's happy. I like that. Go ahead.
All right.
We're back.
Looks like we're back. Luis also took a break.
Where was I?
So you were just saying that Luis feels good as long as he's playing pool?
That's right. Which is...
Oh, my goodness. Look at this cat.
Look at this kitty.
Oh. What's his name?
He's 15.
All right, you guys.
Oh, thank you, Zach, for the compliment on our commentary. Looks like we got a bunch of fans chiming in here.
All right, let's do some booth view with the cat.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
We got a cat here. This is for good luck for...
Yeah, hit the booth view.
Which one is it? Oh, right here.
It's a little orange button up there at the top row.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Look at this cat.
He's like, no, I'm
There's
shy.
the cat.
Yes. He's getting a little screen time.
He's like, you guys are a bunch of amateurs. I'd show you how it's done out there.
Yeah. All right. He lays down a break, and this is kind of how it goes. No shot on the 1. When he's on the hill, he wants to just run out, but looks like he's got a duck here. He's trying to think of the best option here. I kind of like thinning it on the other side, and come in and just leaving the 1 kind of on the rail and use the 7 and a couple of those other balls as blockers. But you could go the other way, the way he's going, and maybe bank the 1 up towards where the 6 is and use the 5.
Yeah, that's the downside to going that route, because you don't get under that 10, you're gonna leave something. Morgan's getting his fighting spirit on here, shedding some layers.
Yep.
Like, all right, it's time.
It's absolutely time.
Let's get this thing going.
What I love about Morgan is he lives for these moments. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. It's just this moment. He's down 7-8 in the race to 9. He's got a tough layout, and just the pressure of this situation is what gets him going, which is entirely the same for me.
It's what makes you feel alive.
It is. Beautiful shot.
Excellent shot. Clutch.
Yeah.
He set himself up for the good opportunity here.
Well, it's just about walking around the table just like he's doing now. He knows where he needs to be on the 4 to get to the 5. The 6 is laying nice. Once he makes the 6, it's really just the 9. The 7 leads to the 9 perfectly. So it's really just this shot right here, not getting too steep on this 4, just coming right into that line.
Yeah, keep it simple, just like that. I think he'll be just fine.
Perfect.
He really hit that good. Now you just pinch this back a little bit.
Yep.
For the 5. Pinch the 5 back a little bit for the 6. Pinch the 6 back a little bit for the 7.
You just pinch the 7 off the rail.
Pinch the entire rack.
Yep, that's all you got to do.
It's pinch, 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 pinch.
Just don't pinch the 10.
No.
Just smooth it in.
Smooth it in. At Mach 10.
Yeah. All right, Morgan, you got this. Looks like he's falling forward for the 5 in the side.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Nothing wrong with that. Probably didn't want to be on the rail, but still a makeable shot, and he just has to bear down a little bit more.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a touchy shot.
See, that's, you leave yourself on the rail and things like this can happen.
But he did not leave an easy shot. I think Luis's best bet is just to kind of tickle the right side of the 5, leave it on the rail with the 10, and go down there by the 7. Just very soft. Just like that.
Yep. Good shot.
Now this is super touchy, because if he gives up ball in hand, the 5-10 is looking pretty wired. If it goes by the 7, Devin,
No,
doesn't look like it goes by the 7. So
that's his saving grace right now. I think you have to kick into this softly.
right,
Very pocket speed, or
just
I guess
enough to get a hit.
in this situation, rail speed. Just enough to get it to the rail.
Yeah,
And if you do that, you're going to be in good shape. The best shape you can be in, at least.
yeah. It has the tendency to double kiss and just sit right in front of the side.
And this is
Looks
looking
like he hit
good.
it pretty
He hit
good.
it perfect.
Nice shot.
Great shot from Morgan there.
In that position with everything on the line, that was super clutch.
I'm loving the exchanges that I've seen here between them defensively and strategically.
Yeah, this is a great match.
It shows that, watching these exchanges shows the knowledge they have of the game.
This is a really tough position for Luis to be in. I mean, it might be that his best bet with the 10 not going by is just to glance off the 5 super thin and run into the 9, just kind of a containing shot, and try to keep the 5 on the rail as much as you can.
I think can't he squeeze under that 9?
I don't think so. I don't think there's
I think you're right. I don't think he can. No, he can't.
I think he called the 9 ball just in case. I'm not sure if that.
What happened there? It must have been a
Yeah,
good
it must
hit.
have been a good hit, but it looked like it could have been one of those hits that just kind of rocks towards the rail but doesn't
Whiffed
actually
it.
hit it. Yeah. No, he definitely hit the 5. I just wasn't sure if the 5 got a rail.
Boy, this is a weird situation.
Yeah.
There's nothing I like about this.
Mm-mm.
I think
It's one of those situations where you almost just want to roll up on the 5 again.
that's all I see.
Yeah, because if you do anything like this, you're opening the 5 up too much. And that's actually okay, though. And now Luis is presented with an equally difficult decision, so this is pretty
Well,
fun to watch in this second to last game.
Luis
potentially.
might be able to 3-rail this 5 towards the 7 and stop the cue ball right there, which is what my concern was about playing it the way Morgan played it.
Yeah, if he sees that shot, that's definitely the shot.
I can't. If he moves, then we'll be able to see.
I think he doesn't have it.
I don't think he has it, so it should be all right. Let's see what he does.
He might just leave him down on the bottom rail for like a long distance combo on the 5-7.
Yeah, that's nothing wrong with that in this situation. Now Morgan's gonna return by hooking him on the 10 there. Yeah. Good shot.
Yeah, I think Luis will probably play the same shot he just played. The benefit of doing that is even though the 5 will leak out a little bit to where it might go on the side, the cue ball will be far enough down table to where he can't make it. It definitely came off.
All right, well, that little tic-tac-toe is over now that the 5's leaked out this much.
Right.
I think Morgan can slice this in and run into the 7. Or he can... No, I think that's the shot. I don't see a good... I don't think he can thin it. Or, I mean, shoot the 5 past the 10 and hook him on the 10.
Yeah. No, it looks like he can cut this in. It's just going to be pretty thin.
But all he has to do is focus on making this now.
Yeah, no danger of scratching with the 7 being there.
Exactly. And just take what he gets on the 6.
What a shot.
Oh,
Don't
don't do it to him.
Can't believe that.
Oh, my goodness.
That is one of the worst scratches I've seen in a long time.
Brutal.
What a nice cut on the 5 too. He definitely deserved to get a roll there.
Well, that leaves Luis with an opportunity here to close out the set.
Yeah, and it looks like he's trying to play the 7 in the side, which I think he should play the 7 in the corner that he's standing next to.
Well, you can maintain the right angle on the 7 playing it in the corner more naturally than you can if you play it in the side. And I think he overdrew it a little bit.
I think he's going to be okay. I think he can just draw it back to about where it is now. No, he's going to go high ball. Yeah, I think he's got enough angle to just go one rail up and back at the same pocket.
Okay, good shot. Set himself up good here. Now he's coming back and forth.
Yeah, and he could even just kind of float this in. It seems like Luis's style to kind of go back and forth like you were saying, but he's going to have this 10 ball to win the match.
Not an easy one.
Nope, not at all.
Just gotta bear down and stay down, follow through. Resort back to your fundamentals.
He
And
made
he
it.
got it.
Good shot and a good match. Great match by both players.
Great shooting. That was a fun match to watch.
Yeah, that was really fun. We really appreciate you guys coming to watch.
Probably do some post-match interviews.
Yeah, let's get some post-match interviews for sure.
Definitely.
Let's go grab Luis.
Get Luis in here.
Let you guys in.
All right.
It was a really unfortunate scratch for Morgan.
Really unfortunate. That's just one of those brutal rolls of pool.
It is.
If he doesn't scratch there, Morgan's likely out, and it's hill.
I feel like there's a buzzing noise. What's up, man? Great shooting.
Hey,
You shot great.
the champ. Good
How you
shooting.
feeling? Here, let's get you on here so you can
Yeah.
kind of tell the people how that went.
Really?
Absolutely.
Tell us about it.
Respect. That's all I can say. Mad
Good
respect.
match.
Yeah, that was a great match. Just super excited that I was able to conquer this one, right? But yeah, he's improved a ton. I didn't even look at his Fargo when I told him that we should play, and he plays like it, So I just got a few good rolls, and yeah,
You played great, man.
yeah.
Yeah, you both did good. And yeah, you made a lot of good shots, and I liked your strategy throughout the match. And
It was wild.
yeah,
Wow.
So what was your preparation like going into this match?
So I practiced on what was it? Tuesday and Wednesday with Brian. No. Yeah, so Brian Bernard and then Javier,
Okay.
and that was fun.
Both great guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Good
Yeah.
shooters, yeah.
So they really made me focus and gave me some great tips. So play smart, not so wild. Even though I did a couple of great wild shots, right? Didn't make them, but
no,
yeah.
you had that the first rack, that 3-ball. I think you won the first rack off that shot, or no? I think you missed the 7, but you had a great shot on that 3-ball.
Yeah.
To start out the set, and you had it more to come after that too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and the safety play was awesome. I mean, there was so many situations where we didn't really even know what to do, and you guys had some really smart shots. So
Yeah, that last one was pretty interesting because I was like, I got to give him a good enough shot, like Dylan says, give him the bait and see what happens,
yeah.
And I got the lucky roll there, so couldn't do much about that.
Cole and I were like that meme of the lady with all the math equations going around, like trying to figure out what was the right shot.
Yeah.
And you guys found a way to get out of a lot of sticky situations. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you still had to come with a good out there under the pressure. So yeah, you shot great. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you guys.
good shooting.
Yeah, everybody at home, I love you guys. So,
you got plenty of fans in the chat here.
oh yeah.
So
Yo. Oh, there we go.
mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. TJ, I got you your $20, man. Yeah.
TJ, you should have bet with me. You would have won 40 off me. So no offense, I was betting no more.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I talked to Dylan and I said, man, he's got Cole and Chris next to him. They've been helping him out a ton, so it's gonna be a good match. So, just got a couple good rolls. I think we're gonna have to, play it again.
I think you guys got to run it
Yeah,
back.
we got to run it back.
You
Right?
got to run back,
Absolutely.
and we'll come back and commentate again.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
For sure.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job,
Thank
Luis.
you. Appreciate it.
All right, should we get Morgan in here? Or is he
Yeah, let's get him in here. Let's get his beautifulness in here.
All right, if he wants to.
Yeah, if he wants to.
I'll see if he
I'll just hang out here for a minute. There he is. Golly.
Oh shit, that's what you guys
Here.
are doing?
Yeah.
You get on there.
Get on
give
there.
your thoughts.
This is control.
Oh, I can hear you.
You can.
That's cool.
Could you hear us when we were talking while you were in there? at
No.
all? Okay.
No. Yeah, that was fun. I
I made some bad decisions. Is really all. I missed the 3-ball, the 7-ball, the 9-ball, and that last 5-ball. So that was a bummer. But
you got pretty unlucky on that 5. I was saying that's probably the most.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was because
Brutal.
it was super thin. So I was sitting here and I was like, I even said out loud that I was like, this. I'm supposed to shoot this, especially with the 7 hanging in the pocket. I can't scratch. All I have to worry about is
exactly what we were
making this
saying.
ball. All I gotta do is make it. There's no way I can scratch here. So I'm looking around, I'm like, all right, where's the 7 gonna go? And I look back, I'm looking at the white ball. I was like, no way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that
It
kind of
was
sucked.
sickening.
But in fairness, if I hadn't played that 4-ball so bad, I wouldn't have been glued to the rail and have it. That was the one shot that I felt I missed it. It felt nervy for sure, but.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure because I saw you lining up on the 5, like past the 7 in the corner. Was it a little bit touchy, like with where you were on the 4? Because you chose
On the 4?
Yeah, you chose to play the 4 and follow down for the 5
Instead of drawing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just because I didn't have a full pocket because of the 7, and I didn't want to like hit it with spin and worry about nicking it. Then I was like, if I'm coming, as long as I'm coming this way, shape on the 6 is guaranteed, and then the 7's hanging, and it's all perfect to get out.
Yeah.
I should have just followed it more though, and just made sure I came off the rail. Just came down to the middle of the table. There's no way I would have been on the wrong side there, but. Of course, in my head, when I get down, the nerves are going. I'm like, all right, just don't let up on your stroke and glue yourself to the rail.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, but you played great. I mean, you both did, and it was a great match.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, it was fun.
You guys got to run it back. Cause,
and obviously I hate losing, but I like Luis a lot. He's a good family man and all that stuff, like we are, and yeah, I've always liked Luis. He's got a good game. We didn't do a lot of missing, so I don't feel bad about that one. I'll actually watch this one back.
For sure.
And in comparison to the last time I watched you play on camera, I think you played against Javier last time. You made a lot less decision errors than I saw, because I know when I watched you play Javier, there were some decisions where I was like, I'm not sure what you were thinking.
Yeah.
And not to be mean,
No,
obviously,
no.
but here, a lot less. There's only maybe 2 instances where I was a little confused on what your thought process was.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you played everything the way you were supposed to play it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
No, I appreciate that, because there were a couple times where I was like, there was a bunch of things running through my head, and I was like, there's probably something here I'm not. I mean, you guys are probably going to get a screenshot in the group chat later tonight going, what should I have done here?
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I agree with you. There was a couple places where I was kind of like, man, there's something higher percentage here that I'm probably not seeing. So I'll go back and look at it and then get your guys' feedback.
And it's weird
figure it
because you can see things so much differently and sometimes better from our perspective here in the booth, looking at the table from up top or from the side, which you don't usually do when you're at the table. You're looking at the shot just from where the cue ball is and what direction you're going to shoot it. And so it's kind of a cool perspective to have, to be here to see that. So you can say, oh, well, if I'm at the table next time in a match and I don't see something, then maybe I just step to the side and look at the table from the perspective as if a camera was looking at it in a match.
Okay.
And which is only something I noticed recently, but it could help.
Oh, absolutely.
To just see it from a different way. And sometimes you'll see the pros, they'll walk around and just kind of like stand there and look at the table from afar and like, what the heck do I do here?
Yeah.
You know.
I should do that, because I always stay at the like really close to the table and just check like basically the path of every ball. But yeah, standing back is something. I'll try. The other thing that really killed me is I never play 10 ball. I never play it. So my break is just so bad that my break cost me 3 games easy. Yeah, I jumped the cube off the table, he ran out, and then the first rack I scratched and he got out, and yeah, it definitely cost me a couple games. So I need to work on that. But yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys coming too.
Absolutely,
and thank you for having
bro.
me, Jesse. It was fun.
Yeah. Really wonderful to see you back here, getting in the grease, especially being a family man.
Yeah.
And really awesome to see you play again, because your first match here, we all loved it so much. Just your backstory about, you've been a competitive fighter before, and the value of putting in the time and effort and training, and with the fact that you've only been playing for a handful of years. I've been playing for 30 years, and you'd give me a great game, So it just goes to show, like, put in that time and effort, man. Talent's great, but it's kind of overrated. It's all about the time and effort, and especially if you're playing with people like Cole and Chris. You know, like whenever I played with Glenn Atwell, like you play with somebody like them, it just rubs off on you.
Yeah. For sure,
so.
and that's something like a lot of people that are trying to get better that should understand. Like these
Go
guys
get
are
in the
my
grease.
Yeah, and also
go get barbecued.
These
go
guys
get
are
beat up on.
Yeah, these guys are also my friends, but we don't play together very much. Most of the help I get from them is phone calls. Like Cole and I talk on the phone more than we play together by far. Like we don't play together that much. I'll send them table layouts and stuff like that, and that stuff is so helpful. And watching a ton of pool, listening to like Jeremy Jones, that type of stuff.
Right.
Really help. It's not just what they're doing; it's what they should be doing. The mechanics, the like how it all works. There's a lot that goes into pool, and understanding the game is a lot more than spearing balls in. Is understanding how things are going to happen, especially when the conditions are different and stuff like that. Your table plays great too.
Oh,
it was a ton of fun.
Well, we do our best to make sure that it does so. But what I really enjoyed about tonight's broadcast and the match, you guys played great. But Cole and Chris were just so good about just dropping knowledge that people that are trying to get better at the game will learn a lot from hearing. So you provided them the best opportunity to share as much as they did. So
yeah,
really great opportunity for people to learn, and just a really awesome group of people here tonight. Thanks,
Hell
guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Really love it.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, anytime. You're welcome to come back, and if you guys want to match up, please do. We'd love to have you guys here.
Well, if anyone wants to try and match up,
I'll take you on.
there you go.
All right. I guess with that, we're going to sign out, everybody. So thank you once again for tuning in. We always have a wonderful time. Please invite other people to watch so we can have more people part of a good time. With that being said, have a wonderful night. We're on a rock flying through space, so take it easy.